Today's video is pretty much a discussion of the state of the game. We're going to talk about the state of the Trophy League and the reset, which we just started talking about, the state of Mastery, the state of Power League, Club League, Map Maker, PvE events, game economy and progression, state of Brawler balance and new brawlers, and the state of social. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm excited that you could have us here. So our first discussion is the state of the Trophy League reset. Is it good? Okay, the duration's changing from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. We're resetting 10 brawlers instead of 20. The maximum trophies that you can lose per brawler is going down to 50 instead of like 100. But bling rewards are being nerfed by 25 to 40% up until 950 trophies. Beyond that, you start actually earning more bling per reset. But below that, you actually get less, right?
Yep.
So I'm so sorry, Ash. I was fixing problems while you were talking. Fine. I don't even know what you said.
Don't worry.
I created a brand new stream instead of streams to the one that I had already created, which is an issue. But so I did a poll on my stream where I asked people if they thought that the trophy reset changes that just happened was good or bad, and 58% of people said yes, that it's good.
Whoa, only 58? That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it is kind of surprising.
I feel like it's a positive change for most people. Like 99% of players, I feel like this is a positive change.
Yeah, I agree.
Because now you reset less trophies. You're able to climb trophies higher. You don't have to constantly, push back the same brawler over again every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. Well, and like for me, I'm like, okay, I play Brawl Stars more than most people in the world, right? I play Brawl Stars more than most people that play Brawl Stars play Brawl Stars. But I'm not at the level that you are, where you are like a competitive player. You push a lot. You're going for like masteries, and you're really a competitive player. I like to pretend that I am, but I'm not. I actually play fairly casually. I can be. If I play really hard, then yeah, I can. But right now, just to give you an idea of where I'm at, I'm playing my free-to-play account, and at the moment, I'm playing about an hour a day. That's where I'm at. I play every day. I get my progression in, then I go and I work on other stuff. For me, I love this change because I don't have to push 20 brawlers every 2 weeks. 20 brawlers every 2 weeks. That's more. That's like 1.7 brawlers per day or something like that. No, that's not right.
1.7 brawlers.
20 divided by 14. 1.4 brawlers per day, which isn't hard. It doesn't sound like it's hard by itself. But if you got Power League and Club League, and you've got your quests, and you've got the Map Maker rewards that you can get every single day, these are all these different things. I don't have time on top of that to also make sure that I just push a little bit for every single brawler. So these are fantastic because I'm actually, maybe I'm getting less bling per reset right now, but fewer of my brawlers are getting reset, which means that come a month from now or 2 months, or sorry, maybe like 6 months from now, all my brawlers are going to be at higher trophies than they would have been with the previous reset. And so I will eventually be earning more bling per reset. Right now it's less.
Yeah.
But it will be eventually because I don't have 950 brawlers or trophies on all my brawlers. But now for you, how is it for you? Because you play a lot more than I do.
For me, to be honest, so I'm an anomaly here, right? Like I'm, as you said, like for trophy pushing, more of a competitive player. Earlier this year, I pushed to top 4 global with the personal best of 73,000 trophies.
Oh boy, that's literally twice as many trophies as my main account has.
Yeah, I was playing like 8 hours a day for like a month straight to achieve that, right? So I feel like this changed the trophy reset, which I think is great for like 99% of the players. Like I said, like it's a great change for them. But for players who want to be, competitive in the trophy leaderboard, right? Who want to get to the top, right? I think this kind of completely like killed my motivation of like ever wanting to, aspire for that, right? And I feel like a big reason for that is because now you're not resetting, right? We have the top player in the world right now, Kairos, at 83,000 trophies, right? He's got 83,000. And guess what's gonna happen after a month? 4 weeks. He's only gonna reset 10 of those brawlers. He's only gonna be dropping like what? Like 2,000 trophies, which is not enough. It keeps him at the top above 80,000, right? So if I ever wanna like, surpass these guys at the top, now I have to grind even more. I have to like, it's gonna take months and months to climb up there. Whereas before that, I was able to get to the top rather quickly, thanks to the reset, right? Thanks to these players losing like 10,000, like over 10,000 trophies after the season reset, right? And that allowed me to now, it gave me a chance to now compete and get to the top. But like I said, this only affects like 0.0000001% of the players, right? Because we're just like, at the top 200. And I do think there's a way to fix that issue, because, you have the top players in the leaderboard, right? So I feel like for those players have separate rules, maybe a special case for them where, they reset a lot more trophies and like, the 99% of other players, right? I feel like that would be a good change to keep the trophy system, the leaderboards competitive.
Yeah.
While also, making it a positive change for the casual players as well.
So what you're saying is, like, above 1250, which is the highest rank you can possibly get for a brawler, just make the reset a lot harsher. Is that what you're saying? Instead of, because like right now, if you get to 15, if you get to 1.5 thousand trophies and you're right at 1.5 thousand trophies, the reset happens and you lose 1 trophy.
That's crazy.
And you're at 1,499 trophies now. And so that only happens to 10 of your brawlers. So eventually it is going to get to the point where you have, where the highest grinders or whatever are going to have, they're going to have all their brawlers over 1,500 trophies.
Yeah, and they're going to be chilling.
Yeah,
they're going to get like 100,000 trophies. No joke. They're going to hit 100,000, and they're just going to chill there for a while. Like a year. They can just, it's easy. All you have to do, like once you achieve, let's just say, theoretically, right? You achieve 100,000 trophies, right? And your brawlers, the top brawlers are like 1,500 or whatever, right? After a season, right, which is now 4 weeks, only 10 of those brawlers reset.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so easy to make up for those 10 brawlers, right? The trophies that you lost, you have 4 more weeks to reclaim them, right? To push them again. So you're back to the top. You're just gonna constantly chill at the top easily now, right?
So it is clear that something needs to change, at least for the very, very top.
Yeah. This change is definitely a positive change, but for short term, right? This is a short term positive change where, like, it looks great on paper right now, but when we're talking about long term in the future, I feel like it's gonna be chaos
for the very, very top. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think for everybody that's not like possibly trying to push to the very, very top, though, I feel like it's actually pretty good though. So let's just say you're a player that like, you're hovering around 750 trophies for all of your brawlers, right? Then fewer brawlers are gonna be reset, and you're gonna feel more like you have permanent progression for the trophies, and that I'm personally really excited for. I feel like there's a reason for me to push more of my brawlers, because I'm not gonna lose it every single season, and I'm not playing 8 hours a day. I'm playing like an hour, maybe 2 hours. If I'm streaming, then 3 hours a day, right? But that's pretty much it. So it's interesting.
Oh no, for sure. Like I said, for like 99% of the players, this is definitely a positive change.
Yeah. I have seen, you actually shared a Reddit post with me where somebody was talking about how it's a scam for bling.
Yeah.
They were like, this is a scam. We're getting less bling. And, they're not wrong. The numbers work out like that. Up to 950 trophies, you do get less bling. But fewer brawlers reset. And so over time, all of your brawlers will climb higher, and over time you'll get more bling. I think. It's hard to say for sure, but I think that overall it's a pretty big win. And honestly, they gave us way more bling from this than I was expecting. Like this update, maybe they tweaked it. Maybe they were like, whoa, we started giving people too much bling, because guess what? Now you can buy like 90% of the cosmetics in the game for free. That's
I'm
awesome.
one of those people like who got like I still have over 80,000 bling on my main account.
80,000 bling?
Yeah.
The cap is set 7,000 and you're at 80,000. That's crazy.
Yeah, so like the good thing is I can use it to like purchase future skins and save money.
Dude, you're set. Yes, you're set.
Yeah.
You save money for all the skins except for the Gods of Olympus skins.
Yeah.
You do have to wait 2 weeks though to buy them.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But it's I like it. I think that's probably why one of the big reasons why they nerfed how much bling you get, right? I feel like it's because they realize, hey, you know, so many of our, I guess, spenders, right? I feel like I'm one of the big spenders in the game as well. And now I don't have to spend as much because you just gave me so much bling, right? Like I can just use
you and
this.
we're a very small percentage of people as
small.
far as how much money we actually spend on the game.
Yeah.
But you're right. My hope is that at least like my hope is that more skins will actually be in the game and people will see more skins, and so they'll be more likely to other people will be more likely to actually purchase skins in the game. I'm not trying to like encourage like unhealthy spending on the game, but I do like to encourage actually spending money on the game because it supports the development of the game. And I'm not just saying that because I have a creator code and you have a creator code, but like I want Brawl Stars to be able to continue to do awesome things for the game. And the more revenue they bring in, the more employees they can bring in, the more cool, awesome things they can do, the bigger they can make the esports scene. There's so many different things they can do with more money, and it just comes to making the game better for everybody involved. And so there needs to be a healthy balance, though. And I think, which we'll talk about free-to-play progression and stuff like that later. But anyway, so I've got another discussion question, unless you wanted to keep talking about this.
No, go ahead.
So do you think that an expansion of the trophy road is necessary? And I want everybody in the chat to answer this as well. In fact, maybe we should, I'm just going to ask people, okay? Have you hit 50,000 trophies? Let's I'm going to do a poll here. Have you hit 50K trophies?
I think from the data Frank posted on Twitter a while ago, I think only like 1% of player base had like above 43,000 trophies or something like that.
I don't have 40,000 trophies on my main account. I've completely stopped playing my main account, and now in fact, it's weird for me to call it my main account. I'm only playing my free-to-play account. It's more fun. It's more exciting for me. I'm never going to be the sweaty hardcore player that reaches top on the global, you know? And so for me, I just like the free-to-play account. But anyway, it's funny.
I actually have a free-to-play account that I've been playing Power League on.
Oh, yeah.
And and I agree, it is a lot more fun to progress. Now you have so many options, so many brawlers, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what brawler I'm gonna get next. I know which one I want to unlock, right? Like, it's actually a lot more fun. I wish I started playing Brawl Stars this way with all the new system and everything, right?
Yeah, which we'll talk about the removal of boxes later. Spen LC said, I've got 69,000 trophies.
Oh.
I love it. Nice. Okay. Nice. So my chat said 12% of people in my chat said that they have hit 50,000 trophies. Now, we have a very, like, your followers and my followers are, like, some of the most competitive players in the game. Like, actually, though. Like, statistically. I asked, in fact, Supercell told me, well, I don't know if I can say this. I'm not going to say it. Sorry, they told me something.
They said like 10% of your followers are...
Let's just say this. At least for our audiences are like the most competitive. Let's just say that. Yeah. And so 10% of the people watching on the stream right now have hit 50,000 trophies. That seems really high, but in the global perspective, you guys are the top 0.05%. Like, almost nobody's hit 50,000 trophies. I think that eventually maybe a trophy or an expansion of the trophy road will be necessary when they have a lot more brawlers in the game. But I think it's going to be a long time before that's really necessary, I think. So that's my opinion. Next question.
I mean, I would love it, but you're right. Like,
yeah, it would be cool. Also, it's hard too because they can't really put more resources in there. Like, they really can't. There's so many free-to-play resources throughout the game. When they added, like, when they completely reworked things. We'll talk about progression later. I keep coming back to progression. But, like, they really can't add too many more resources in it because you unlock Brawlers so quickly. Like, I've been playing my free-to-play account for 163 days. And I have more than half of the Brawlers.
Okay.
Like, 163 days.
But at the same time, you know, new Brawlers are just popping up every month. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll have to happen eventually. Okay, so I have a proposal for the Trophy League because currently the Trophy League I feel like is good. But eventually I think they're going to change it in some ways.
Yes, for sure.
And so my thought right now is just eventually, and I don't want this to happen now because I like the current system for what it is at the moment, but eventually I want them to move toward like a prestige system. So what a prestige system would work as is like right now you push a brawler and it could go up super high and forever and whatever and like the league resets and whatever. But what I want is there to be a hard cap at like 1,000 trophies for a brawler. And once you hit 1,000 trophies for that brawler is now has prestige status. And what prestige status means is that now you have an account-based rank, where that is your competitive rank. And once that brawler reaches prestige status, it no longer gains individual trophies, and now it's just a part of your actual prestige rank. And so it pretty much becomes competitive once a brawler's past 1,000 trophies. Up until 1,000 trophies, you can be whatever. You know, maybe they even have the reset, maybe they don't have the reset, and they just adjust trophies or whatever. But at that point, you gain... at that point, once you reach 1,000 trophies, you just have this roster of your 1,000 trophy prestige brawlers, and then it's just competitive from that point on. And you can play whatever brawler you want to. You don't have to play all the brawlers. Now, when I came up with this idea, this was before they actually made it so that you only reset 10 or 20 brawlers. And so that's why I came up with it, because I didn't like the current system. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I feel like...
I mean, honestly, I've thought about it a lot. And it's a very complicated system, and I haven't thought about it enough, okay? Because there's so many things that I'm not thinking about.
Yeah, because like one thing I'm thinking is like if you hit that cap, right, 1,000, and you hit it with all your brawlers, right? Now you're thinking about what about my overall trophies?
Yeah.
Now it's just gonna be the same as every other player who's hit the cap.
Well, but at that point you would have you would have a prestige rank. And so think about Power League right now, how you have different ranks, and then every season it resets a certain amount. It would be just like that. Every season your prestige rank would reset, your total rank would reset, and then for that whole next season, your goal is to push back up to Masters rank or whatever. But it's not like Power League where you have to worry about the draft or anything like that. It's like you can play just the same brawler over and over and over again on specific maps and modes and stuff like that. But it does get reset. So
yeah.
I mean, it's an idea. I don't know.
No, that's a pretty cool idea for sure.
I mean, I've tried prestige ranks in other games and I've enjoyed them. And the reason why I like it is because every single season, everybody has a chance to be #1 as long as you put in the time and effort and you're good. And trophy count for your individual brawler really doesn't matter. Honestly, once you've reached 1,000 trophies with a brawler, any one brawler, you're a pretty good player at the game. Right?
Yeah.
And so at that point, you could probably pick up a lot of different brawlers. And I have like just so little like personal, like people ask me what my favorite brawler is and I have an answer for that. But I don't main a brawler, right? I play all of them because the game kind of forces me to. And so, like, unless you're a pro player, I don't spend hours and hours playing Max only or Jesse only or whatever. I just play all the brawlers. And it's funny because I actually get worse at the game because of that.
because you play so many different brawlers. It's true. The best players in the world are the players that specialize in just a few brawlers.
Exactly.
Or you know, certain play style. It's actually not very beneficial for those pro players to try and master every single brawler.
Well, it's impossible.
You know,
you
also have two other teammates.
and you have 2 different teammates, and you have to like learn. You can't learn 68 interactions for all 68 brawlers. But if you learn 5 brawlers really good, you can learn how they interact with every single brawler in the game for just those 5 brawlers.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, I don't know. It's an idea.
No, for sure. No, it's definitely true.
Do you have anything else that you'd want to talk about when it comes to the state of Trophy League and the reset?
Anything else with the state of the Trophy League reset? Other than just me being critical about it as a trophy pusher, I've kind of lost motivation to even push to the top anymore because you know it's a lot harder now, right? Those top players are not resetting, so how am I gonna get to the top? You know what I mean? So that's my only concern as a competitive trophy pusher.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I said, it's a great change for most, like at least 99% of the players. I feel like it's a great change for.
Yeah, I think you're right. Spen says that he specializes in Mortis. Yeah.
Oh snap.
I love it. I love it. We'll talk about balance later. Okay.
Oh, balance is gonna be a good discussion.
I do have balance like near the end. We could talk about it. Well,
I'll talk about it now, or
let's talk about mastery.
Okay.
If that's cool. So I'm gonna ask everybody in the chat.
Cool.
By the way, for those of you guys that are just joining the stream, oh, that's weird. I don't know why that's going on. For those of you guys that are just joining the stream, make sure you guys go check out Ash's Twitter. We're actually doing this not just on YouTube, but also on Twitter as well. You check the link in the very description of the top of the stream. It's called Twitter Spaces. You can just come and listen in. It's, I don't know, is it like a podcasty type thing? I don't know.
Pretty much a podcast, kind of.
My device like stopped connecting to the Brawl Stars server for some reason. There we go. Okay. Next discussion or topic of discussion is the state of mastery. Okay. So I'm going to ask a question to everybody, and I'll do it in a poll form. Have you gained a mastery title for at least one brawler?
Ooh.
Okay.
Excited to know the results of that.
Yeah, I'm going to ask it in poll form, so just a second.
Yep.
Have you gained a title on 1+ Brawlers? Okay, boom. That'll be interesting. Because it takes a long time. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was going to ask you, can you guess how many mastery titles I have? You're never going to get it, I feel like. I got to get this right.
I'm going to go with 3.
Nope.
Do you have 0?
I actually have 0.
Okay.
I'm very close to getting the Piper title, though, but...
Well, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But also, like, the way I'm playing it is, like, I'm not really going for one mastery.
Okay.
I'm, like, playing on multiple accounts. I have, like, 4 different accounts that I'm playing.
You do play on a lot of accounts.
At the same time, yeah, I'm just...
You have multiple, like, extra accounts that have more trophies than my main account. Multiple.
Yeah, last season I pushed 3 accounts to Masters on Power League. So what I've been doing is like playing... Yeah, so I've been playing Power League a lot on these accounts, and I've been playing so many different brawlers and different accounts, right? So I definitely have like, if you combine all my mastery points, I'm definitely up there at like the top 0.001% or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of having a single title, I don't.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm actually very surprised by these results. We got 1,000 votes, and 20% of people said they do have a title on at least one brawler.
Okay.
That actually surprises me. I thought it was going to be a lot less.
Oh, you thought it was going to be less? I feel like we've definitely reached that point, because it's been like, what, more than 2 months since...
It has been. So I guess the reason why I'm surprised is because it's, what, like 40 hours of gameplay?
Somewhere on a single brawler.
With a single brawler. So 40 hours of gameplay. Oh my gosh, I'm watching the most toxic teaming going on in Showdown on. It's awful. So I've so we've done it for 2 months, and you know it's been about 40 hours to get a single mastery. But here's the thing. There's so many resources. I can guarantee you that nobody, well, maybe I can't guarantee you. I would be shocked if somebody in the world has collected all of the resources for all their mastery brawlers, or for all their brawlers. Just the resources, not the titles and the spray and the pins or whatever, but all of the resources, right?
That's crazy.
I don't know the stat, but I'm so certain of it. That's so much time. In fact, it might even be impossible.
Unfortunately,
for right
unfortunately, I don't have my co-host with me today, Ashlyn.
Yeah.
She's a grinder of mastery. She has like, I think, at least 7 mastery titles right now.
Okay.
Yeah. She also does YouTube content. She's been doing on mastery titles, so look her up. She couldn't make it today, unfortunately, but she's always available to these Twitter Spaces podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me on my free-to-play account, what I'm literally doing is I'm just farming my lowest mastery brawlers, and I'm just getting the resources. Like, I need a lot of gold at the moment, and so I'm just getting rank 1 for all of them. And I'm not even there. I still have, I think, like 5 brawlers out of my 37 that I still need to reach rank 1 on. Granted, I have a lot of really low trophy brawlers, so as soon as I unlock a new brawler, that's like another 2 hours that I need to grind in order for me to get them to 500 trophies. And
2 hours is pretty fast.
Yeah, 2 hours is fast. 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, typically, for me to get a brawler to 500 trophies. And at 500 trophies on a brand new brawler, you should reach mastery rank 2. But mastery takes a long time that low in trophies. Those full, like, if I have a 500 trophy brawler, it might only take me an hour to reach rank 2. But on, you know, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, kind of interesting. So here's an interesting thing about masteries. It seems like one of the best ways for people to actually farm masteries is to push really, really high in trophies and then purposefully just lose trophies.
I've done that a lot.
Yeah, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't think it's good. Like, it's not fun, because here's what happens. You gain so many trophies, or so many mastery points really, really high in trophies, but then the matchmaking takes forever, and it's so sweaty, and it's really hard, and you'll wait for, like, what, like 10 minutes in matchmaking, and then you play one match. And it would have been, you could have spent that 10 minutes just dropping trophies in Showdown really quickly. Like, and then you would be able to gain masteries much faster with matchmaking. It only takes 1 minute.
No, I had to do that a lot when I was in Piper Mastery. I was like, okay, you know, 20 quick wins, right? I'm above like 1,100 trophies, but now the matchmaking is so slow. Let me just go on over to Showdown for like half an hour and just drop all the way down to like 700, right?
Yeah.
And then quickly, I feel like even with the reset, I felt like the reason they went with the 2-week reset was for this reason, right?
Yeah.
To avoid having people purposely drop trophies. But now you're, again, moving that to 4 weeks now, right? It's going to be a 4-week reset.
And only 10 brawlers being reset instead of 20.
Yeah, so now you're going to have the same issue again with the Mastery, where you're just going to have people purposely, intentionally dropping trophies.
Yeah.
I feel like, what about, like, allowing us to trade trophies, maybe? Like, let's say I want to drop intentionally, like, I'm going to trade 200 trophies for some mastery points or something. I don't know. Instead of, like, just intentionally dropping.
Like a really costly way to do it? So, like... Okay. So
maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy.
No, I mean it could be kind of fun. It honestly, well, it's not the right solution, but I like the solution, okay? It's not the right solution because I'm sure that there's much more engaging automatic ways for them to do it, but I like the idea of just being like, hey, I'm going to sacrifice 500 trophies on this brawler for 50 mastery points. And all that would do would just save you time not having to go into Showdown and just purposefully drop. Like 50 mastery points is almost nothing for those 500 trophies. But it would save you time. It'd be like a nice quality of life improvement. The thing is, though, is that my hope is that eventually the matchmaking will be improved. Because with the current reset as it is right now, more players will get higher in trophies, and then they'll be at higher, like, matchmaking time will hopefully be better, and matches will be more competitive. And because I don't know how you feel, but I'm sure that your sentiment is very similar to a lot of players where you're good enough that it's no longer a matter of skill to climb trophies, it's just a matter of time.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure, 100%. You also get to a point, like, where, because of matchmaking, right? Once you play against those top teams, you kind of cycle them out, and then you're just playing against lower level players.
Yeah.
But with the new matchmaking changes, they've changed that. But that's also introduced other things, a lot of cheaters, right? I don't want to talk about like ways they are like cheating.
Yeah,
but
you don't want to explain how they're cheating
and stuff. Yeah, but it's been a problem. Another problem is like stream snipers. If you want to stream high-level content, snipers
stream snipers.
Snipers have become a big issue now again. So like just for example, use Trevor. He was sniped like constantly during his stream when he was pushing Macy to rank 35. Right?
Well, it doesn't even have to happen on stream. So for people that don't know what stream sniping is, let's just explain it. Here's what happens. Okay. There are full Discord servers of people, and they have bots that all they do is they just track specific people that are playing, and if there's anybody that reaches really high in trophies. And so, like, I'm on that list. So if I push anywhere close to, like, 900 trophies, what happens is those bots go and they notify everybody in the server, and they say, hey, Kairos is entering. This is what he's playing. This is the map that he's playing. And this is the brawler that he's playing. And so then they will go in with specific counter comps, and I mean, I'm good at the game, but if they come in with a counter comp specifically to counter me on the specific map and mode, like I'm not that good at the game where I can still beat them. I'm not a pro player, and so like they come and they specifically take me out of the game, and prevent me from pushing really high. And that's what happens. That's what stream sniping is basically. I mean, we call it stream sniping, but it doesn't have to happen on stream.
Yeah, it actually happens a lot off stream.
It does.
So like if someone has like a vendetta against you, right?
Yeah. Or just because they want to say, "Hey, I took out Ash," and they want to grab that screenshot. Yeah, that's the annoying thing. As after they kill you, they're like, "Oh, look," and then they post on Twitter and like, "Hey, good game, bro. Look at this loss that you just had." And you're like, "Dude, you literally like came with a specific counter comp to kill me with 3 players that are better than I am. Like, I don't understand what you want from me here."
So that's becoming a lot more prevalent again now.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like pushing really high or going for records or anything, you're gonna constantly get sniped. Because now with the matchmaking change, it only takes about an hour now to rematch against that same person. So say I matched, say you're pushing a rank 35, right? And I see you on the ladder. It's gonna be very easy for me to snipe you because there are very few players that are pushing that high in trophies. So I can easily snipe you, and then an hour later I can do it again, and then an hour later I can do it again. Or I could just get another account, different accounts, and just constantly just snipe you over and over and over. And I've seen that issue, players doing that, and
it's really annoying.
It's really annoying, but it's definitely an issue for like the top players for sure.
Well, the thing is like even like the most competitive players in the world that are at like the world championships, sometimes the match is lost at the draft.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you have somebody, it doesn't matter if you're the #1 player in the world, if a good player comes in with a counter comp, you can lose. Even if you're the best player in the world, you can lose because of that. And so stream sniping is just really annoying, which I don't know. I didn't even mean to need to talk about stream sniping very much because almost nobody watching is it an issue for. It's not an issue for anybody that's watching, really. Well, some people, but most people that are watching, it's not going to be a problem. Anyway, sorry, I probably shouldn't complain about that. It makes me upset. It's why I stopped really caring about pushing high in trophies. Granted, that happened like 2 years ago. I tried to push high, and then I was like, this is dumb. I'm not doing this. It kind of ruined the fun for me.
Oh no, for sure, 100%. But these are things I feel like are necessary for us to talk about.
Yeah.
Because, like, every game needs a competitive, leaderboard or
It does.
and you need those top players. You need competition, right? And if you don't have that, what are you playing for, right? Like
Yeah.
you're getting all these trophies, but where's the end game, right? Like the end game is just so important, and you don't want to screw that up because if you don't have an end game, then you're just gonna lose so much of your player base or players aspiring to get to the top. They're like, there's no point, right? Why am I pushing if that end game is so flawed, right?
Yeah.
And currently, I feel like the current end game of Brawl Stars is very flawed, like really flawed.
And it's really hard too because it's really important for the developers to develop, but at the same time, if they spend all that time developing stuff to make the very, very end game for 1% of their players really good, that's a lot of development time wasted that could have been used to benefit the 99% of the players. And so I think a lot of these issues that we're talking about are very real, but at the same time, it's always like if Brawl Stars doesn't do anything, I just can't blame them. But I will say I think they're doing a good job at trying to do things. The current trophy reset that we talked about, that you brought up a lot of those concerns. It's clear that needs to be addressed somehow. But
and I think they will
eventually. Now. Yeah, eventually it will become a bigger problem, and then it will make sense for them to do it. Anything else you want to talk about with Mastery? I think it's cool. I really like the titles.
I think it was an excellent new feature to the game. They definitely hit the mark on it. I feel like majority of the players they really liked it.
Dude, there was something for everybody.
Yeah, there's something for everybody.
Free-to-play players, casual players, like even if you're just playing casually, when you hit a mastery, you're like, dude, I just got 750 gold. That's huge.
I guess my only thing about the mastery is some of the titles I just don't like. For example, I don't know, Daryl's is just pirate, right? What if I'm a Daryl main, right? And I want to get a title, of course, for my favorite brawler.
Jesse's
title
is
is just so lame.
Yeah, Jessie is my favorite brawler, right? And I don't like playing her, but she's my favorite brawler. And if I got the mechanic title, I'd be like, Now, if I was a mechanic in real life, then I'd be like, dude, I'm getting that. That's super cool.
That's true. Then you have Gale, was the janitor, right? Nobody wants that title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Gale mains that have been upset with that, constantly posting their disapproval on Twitter about it. I don't want the janitor, man. Give me something better, right? It's my favorite brawler. So I feel like maybe you can introduce other titles or something. I don't know. Secondary titles.
It's hard. Yeah. Even if we look at the Jessie example that I just mentioned, for most players, the mechanic is a stupid title that you don't really care. But if you are actually a mechanic, that is a super dope title. It's actually really cool. And so for me, there are so many people around the world from all different walks of life, different countries, different cultures, different professions, different ages. There's so much to consider. I think that it's important for there to be a variety of types of titles.
That's true.
It is really unfortunate when your favorite brawler has a title that you don't really like, but the hope is that maybe someday that title will actually, mean something to somebody. So it's a hard mix. It's very obvious that people feel the same way, though. I think that most people will agree that the majority of titles are not their favorite. Maybe you enjoy 30 or 40% of the titles.
Yeah.
But
I think one thing they can do is have the community involved, have polls. What titles do you want? Future titles, right? Let's say hey, what's a title you want for Daryl, and then we all vote on it as a community on Twitter and other places. That would be a pretty cool idea, I feel like.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. In a podcast or something like that, where with Frank did a podcast with a company, I A1C1 something like that or whatever. And he talked about how Pam was one of the least favorite brawler in the game. People did not like playing Pam. And then they introduced Masteries with the Your Mom title, and now she's the 5th most played brawler in the game. Like,
That's
she
crazy.
went from like
Wow.
least favorite to the very top just because of a title, which I feel like is really cool. And I'm confident that they are tracking titles that people don't care about and don't get. And I think that eventually they might change some of them, but that's also like a weird thing. Like maybe you do go for the janitor title and you're really happy that you have the janitor title, and then they change it to something that more people like, but then it's disappointing because you're like, oh, I got the janitor title. Why did they take that away from me? Like, people are going to get upset if they change the titles, I think.
Now that you mention it, why did they like? They should have given Edgar and Mortis some lame titles. Like Edgar's got a really good one, CEO of Brawl Stars. Mortis got a really good Creature of the Night.
Yeah.
That's how you have like their usage even skyrocketing even more, right? With all these bad runs, they should have given them really like.
At this point,
Terrible.
Mortis and Edgar are just a meme, dude.
They should have gotten really bad titles, I feel like.
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny. Well, I really like titles and Mastery, so I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about with Mastery before we move on.
No, I think we can move on. I think one thing you have listed here is Fame, because it's so forgettable. Like nobody talks about Fame.
Well, let's talk about Fame right now. We talked about Trophy Reset and all that.
Like I completely forgot about like whether Fame even existed. Like I don't even ever like think about it. You know what I mean? Like it's to me it's pretty pointless, and I feel like it's just a way to like how do you even get Fame right now? If you hit like what? Like I kind of forgot about this.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about what Fame is. So because I feel like I have a when people I mean I have some. When people complain about Fame on Reddit or anywhere, I don't know what it is. It's like there's something in me that I just think that people really misunderstand Fame. I really do. And so I go on to like Reddit, and I'm like that angry Reddit warrior where I'm just like typing and like, you're wrong because this is how Fame actually works. And there's all these misconceptions about how Fame actually works and what it is replacing from the previous thing. You're right.
Okay.
Fame is not a big deal, but it was never meant to be a big deal. So how you get Fame is you have to have every single brawler already unlocked. Once you have every single brawler already unlocked, then anytime you get credits or anytime you get credits, the credits get put into Fame. Okay, that's how it works. Or if you have all the brawlers or if you have all the chromatic brawlers and you have extra chroma credits, then you can buy Fame with your chroma credits. So that's how you increase your Fame. And people say that they dislike Fame and they hate it. But here's what happened in the previous, the progression system with boxes. If you had, or when you open up a box, you got 3 things. We're just going to simplify it down to 3 things. You got power points, you got gold, and you had a chance at a new brawler. Okay, that's how it works. Power points, gold, a chance at a new brawler. What happened when you had every single brawler unlocked and you open up a box?
Oh, you just got coins.
Well, you didn't. No, actually, you got power points and you got gold, but the chance to get a new brawler did not get replaced with anything.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It was a waste. There was no chance. It didn't okay, there's a very, 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 very tiny thing that it did. It slightly increased your legendary luck percentage. But that's not a problem anymore because legendaries are just straight up easier to get. But that's the only thing that it did. If you had all the brawlers unlocked, then you didn't get more power points. You didn't get more gold. Nothing. It just went away. You opened up a box, and that chance to unlock a brawler got completely wasted. After the update, here's what they did. They took power points, and now you still have power points. They took gold, and now you still have gold. And then they took a chance to unlock a new brawler, and they replaced it with credits. And so, what happens now if you have all of the brawlers unlocked? Well, now that chance to unlock a new brawler, which is credits, actually goes towards something. It goes towards Fame. It's not anything big. It's not exciting. But before the update, You got nothing when you open up a box and you had all of the brawlers. You absolutely got nothing at all. After the update, you get fame. So what's the point of fame? It's literally just a sink for credits and is just a way for you to show your long-term dedication to the game and how long you've had all the brawlers unlocked. That's really all it is.
Gotcha. One of the issues I've
Sorry
had
for
with
getting can you tell I got a little heated there?
No, that was great. That was great. I think it was very like enlightening for a lot of us.
Yeah, because people thought that you got more gold when you had all the brawlers unlocked. That was not true. You didn't.
Okay.
And so that's why people don't like fame, because they were like, oh, what happened before the update was I got more gold. Well, they should replace it with gold. Well, no, they shouldn't, because then the whole economy gets completely just messed up. And I mean, maybe they want to do it just a little bit so you get a little bit of gold. But anyway, sorry for interrupting you. I did that like 3 times just now.
Oh, no, no problem. I think what I was trying to get...
Somebody in the comment section said, fame feels worse than getting nothing. Which is how some people say it, and I understand why people say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that notion, like, fame feels worse. It's because it doesn't, like, for me, it's not like it's not a good representative of, like, how much time I put into the game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I should have a lot of fame, right? Because I have all the brawlers, and on top of that,
you play a lot.
Yeah, right. And like, I also have like crazy amount of bling and like other resources. I have so much gold right now as well that I have no use, like completely none. I think I have like 500,000 gold right now that I like the only thing I can use it for is just buy gold skins, and I'm scared to do that because I don't know if they're gonna change something. Yeah, right, like they did with the Power 11 update, right? So like,
yeah,
that's giving me trauma. Anyways, what I was getting at with fame was, oh, do you remember when Willow came out?
I mean, I remember that it happened. What? Yes.
Yeah. So in order to unlock Willow, a lot of people, what they did was they saved their credits in their Brawl Pass, right? They didn't unlock those. They didn't, because that's just gonna go on to fame, right? So the strategy was, don't pick those credits up from your Brawl Pass.
Yeah,
right?
don't unlock the fame because it'll go towards, don't unlock the credits so it'll go towards your fame.
Yeah.
Save it for a new brawler, which is what people are doing now for Hank.
Yeah, but obviously a lot of people didn't know that because, they don't like, watch your videos, Kairos. There's a lot of people that don't watch it, right? Yeah. Or like they don't
Everybody watches my videos. I don't know what you're talking about.
So like a lot of people got screwed over because of that, because they, unlocked the credits that just simply went to fame, and now they're like, oh, now I can't get Willow because they wasted all of that on the fame, right? I should have saved it. I would have gotten Willow on the first day, right?
Yeah.
So that's still an issue. I feel like that needs to be somewhat addressed.
Here's the thing, though. Those players that did that made that mistake and didn't save their credits, they're gonna remember now. Oh. They learned their lesson, right? They weren't able to unlock it. It all went towards fame. They didn't have to unlock it.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from. I really do. But you have enough, you can store enough credits from the current season and the previous season to unlock every rarity of the Brawler except for Legendary. For Legendary, you can store, well, actually, you actually could get a Legendary if you play like Hyperactive, but not everybody plays enough to get enough end of season bonus rewards, like, but you can get every single rarity in the game if you play it enough, and you store them all up. Takes a little bit of planning and some preparation. Legendary is the hard one, but that only happens like once a year, Yeah. And so even when that happens, Legendary Brawler, I mean, at this point, Brawlers that are completely maxed out and have every single Brawler unlocked and they have all their Brawlers, they're getting every new Brawler for free, basically, except for every other chromatic Brawler. That's really what it comes down to. I think it's fair for us to allow Supercell to say, hey, we're going to release a Legendary Brawler. We're going to expect that some people either don't have it day one or they spend money on it, because guess what? At the end of the day, we do need to make money in order for us to keep developing the game. I think that's okay.
For sure.
I don't think that you need to be able to unlock a Legendary Brawler with your stored up fame.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's but I think the biggest issue that people have with fame is what you explained, and that is that you want it to mean more.
Oh, yeah.
Is that fair?
I feel, yes, exactly. I don't think it means much, but it's whatever, right? Like, it's just, like you said, it's just a sink for your access resource.
Yeah. Okay, next topic here. Do you want to talk about Power League, Club League, or Map Maker? We'll talk about all of these things, unless you don't have time.
Let's go with Power League. I've been playing so much Power League recently.
Okay, state of Power League. I'm going to ask a poll. Okay, everybody here. Here's this question. Do you get 60 wins for the skin each season? Okay. Every season. It's fine if you miss like a season every now and then, but like 80% of the seasons, do you get the 60 wins that you need for the skin? Okay. Ash, clearly you do, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that even a problem for you?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay, that's not a problem for you.
I actually got it on all my accounts, actually. That's how much I've been.
You do it on all of your accounts. Okay.
All of my accounts. Yeah.
Let me just start this conversation about Power League by saying that Power League is my favorite way to play the game. I love it. I think it's so fun. Drafting I love that draft gets put into a thing. I love the times when you lose the first match and you're like really like, you know, you sit down, you get in a gamer position, and then you like really focus and then you win. Like, that's really fun and exciting. I love pretty much everything about Power League.
Except the randoms.
I don't even care about the randoms. I will embrace the randoms. But here's my issue about Power League is the fact that the skin is too expensive. Not just bling-wise, but also time-wise, in my opinion. Because if I play an hour every single day on my free-to-play account, right? That's a lot. That's way more than most people. Maybe not most people that are actually watching the stream, but that's way more than most people. Between my quests, Club League, playing my 3 map maker matches every single day to get my 30 tokens every day, and unlocking or playing new brawlers and mastery and all of that, there is not enough time for me to get my 60 wins, even though Power League is my favorite way to play the game.
Speaking of that, last season, you know, with the Mariposa Piper skin, right? That's one of my favorite Piper skins. And I actually unlocked it on all my accounts that I played Power League on, right? But this season, with the new changes to Bling and you know, just being how costly it is to get this Meg skin, I've unlocked it, right? I've got the 60 wins.
But you don't have
only on my main account. Only on my main account I bought the Meg skin. But on my mini accounts, I actually didn't. I do have the Bling on some of the accounts, but I didn't buy the skin. Because I can just prioritize the Bling on other skins that are I prefer more over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got 5,000 Bling. I want to get that, you know, that...
Dude, you want to get the crow. The crow skin.
I want to get the crow skin. Yeah,
Dude.
give me the crow skin.
What's
right?
the name
like,
of it?
Why do I...
Crowbone. Crowbone. Dude, it's so
yeah,
cool.
there we go.
5,000.
Yeah.
Why are you going to buy Jaguar Meg when you can get freaking Crowbone?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't even play Meg much on my account, right? So I'm like, it's not even a brawler that I enjoy playing much. So why would I even... No, I got the 60 wins, but I'm not going to buy the skin. Like, I don't want it, right? Like, it's overpriced. I can spend the Bling on other skins that are... Obviously, you have so many other options now to get, right? So that's my thing about it. I feel like it should be a lot cheaper. I feel like if I already made it to 60 wins, give me like an 80% discount, right?
Yeah.
Like, I deserve that.
Yeah,
why do I have to pay the full price?
Here's what I think. Honestly, I think the Power League skin, you should just be able to buy it right at the beginning when it's released for 5,000 Bling. Without the wins, 5,000 Bling, gems, 169 gems, and then if you get the 60 win power, the 60 wins, the cost gets cut in half. You could buy it for 2,500 Bling, or you can buy it for 79 gems.
That makes a lot more sense.
At that point, you're like, dude, I grinded this so that I could get this skin for half off, And then everybody else can always just buy the skin. Everybody wins. If I don't want to play the Power League matches, I can just buy it.
Exactly.
Which not saying that I don't want to play the Power League, because I do. But if I don't have time, I can just buy it on my main account. And on my free-to-play account, I could play Power League and then actually get the skin at a cheaper cost. It would just be awesome. And
100%.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Power League skin. By the way, keep in mind that you and I, we have some of the most competitive audience members out of all of our players, right? 56% of people in the poll said that they do not get the 60 wins for the skin each season.
What? I was expecting at least like 90% of them to get it. What?
No. And
6%.
It's because there's so much time doing everything else. And I
think
I
bet.
And the cost.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I didn't even ask if they bought it. It's just, do you get the 60 wins? What I think happens right now is people look at the skin and they say, is it worth it for me to play 60?
Exactly.
And is it worth it for me to play 60 matches and spend the bling? I'd rather get Crowbone, and I'm not going to spend that time, so I'm just not going to get the skin. If I really like the skin, I can buy it in a year when it gets re-released. Right? And so they just don't do Power League. Even though I think that Power League is the most fun and exciting way to play the game. So here's my suggestion. Okay, first of all, we talked about how we should decrease the cost of the skins. My other suggestion for Power League is to make it so that when you complete a Power League match, then you can allocate some points to go towards one of your quests. Or it can go towards a random quest that you have. And maybe, so like if you have like a win 5 matches or whatever, and you win once, or if you win your 2 matches in Power League, maybe even half those points go towards like a random quest. That way you can just play Power League exclusively and all of your quests will get done. That's my one suggestion. That's what I would do. I don't know.
I agree.
It's not a problem for you because you play Power League so much.
But still, yeah, these are major issues. I feel like if you hit 60, like personally, I just feel like if you hit 60 wins, that skin should just be free for you. Like you deserved it. You worked for it. You earned it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like you earned it, and
it feels like it cost your soul a little bit.
Yeah, right. I had to go through that whole process of playing with some horrible teammates that, you know, constantly throwing, especially in the lower leagues, right? Which most of you guys are playing in Power League. It's chaos at times, right? You just have like these players that just don't want to try, that constantly shoot at you, right? When they're not even playing well, they're the ones throwing.
Yep.
Right? And they're shooting at their own teammates, and just like it's chaos.
And if you want the skin, how you should do it is you should play one Power League. You should get one Power League win every day. That's all. That's the easiest way for you to do it. But nobody does that. They either grind it out right at the start because they really want the skin, or they grind it out right at the end because their time is running out. And both of those playing experiences are super frustrating.
Yes. I actually told some of my friends that. They're like, "Oh, this takes so long." I'm like, "Bro, you got 60 days. Just play one game a day." Like,
that's all you have to do.
I'm not gonna do that.
And it's literally so easy. But that's just, you know, it's hard. But yeah, somebody in the chat says grinding on the last day is so stressful, and it really is. It is so toxic. It takes my favorite way to play Brawl Stars and turns it into my least favorite experience in Brawl Stars. Grinding out the 60 wins just for the skin. So now let's talk about how they actually changed the Power League reset. Okay?
Oh, yes.
So Power League, you now get reset like 2 whole ranks lower than you used to. So like no matter where you are, you get reset. I consistently am in like Mythic 1. Okay? At the end of Power every season, I'm consistently Mythic 1, Mythic 2. And now I'm clear down in Gold.
Oh.
Right? Ouch. Like, ugh.
Did everyone get reset? This is my question though, because I feel like some players didn't get reset. It felt like, because they dropped me from Masters all the way to Mythic 2, right? But then I had teammates in the Mythic range that are like so bad at the game.
Yeah.
Felt like they only have like their highest is like 30,000 trophies, and they only got like 6,000 3v3. and then I have them as my teammates, right? And there's this imbalance in matchmaking that I've had so often, where I would have like these really bad teammates, right? And on the
Yeah.
other side of the on the opposing side, you have like 3 pro players on that side, and it just like it's just such a big imbalance.
Yeah.
And the problem with competitive power league is matchmaking balance is so important because that imbalance can easily result in inconsistencies where you're just winning half your games, and obviously you're not going to move up if you're only winning 50% of your games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's unbalanced and everything, and like the reset is really harsh for a casual player. As somebody who pretty much only plays the 60 wins in Power League because I don't have time to do anything else more, I am going to continually get lower in my ranks.
Oh no.
Like, and that's what it's going to come down to. I'll climb up a little bit, but the thing is, people aren't playing a lot of Power League, and so the matchmaking isn't going to be very good for a while. And I don't know about you, but like, do very many people get to Masters? Like, are you in Masters now?
No, there's only like I think there's only like 5 people in the world right now in Masters.
Right. So they reset it so harsh that it's
So
way
harsh.
harder to get into Masters, and so nobody's up there. And so like, Masters League is literally for like 5 players in the world. Why? What? Like, Masters League should have it at least a few thousand.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I was hoping, oh, this change is gonna have more players. Because one of the issues we had prior to this season was because it was a lot easier to get to Masters, right? You had, like, at the end of the season, you had, like, 200 people in Masters League. And
Yeah.
so that resulted in very few players playing Power League later on in the season because it lasts so long. It lasts 2 months, right?
Yeah.
So we were hoping that this change would continue to, have people compete and push to Masters, but that hasn't been the case. I have multiple accounts. I have 3 accounts in Legendaries in Power League, and it takes so long to find matches because people just aren't even playing in that league. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
The drop to trophy, the Power League reset, it didn't really improve anything. It just made things worse, I felt like.
Yeah. Now, here's why I think Supercell did it. And I really understand their point if this is why they decided to do it. It's bling. That's exactly right. They didn't, like, you get so much more bling in the lower leagues now in comparison to how you used to before they changed it with the whole, like, star points and stuff like that. The previous Power League system, how it worked out is almost nobody got very much bling from Power League, except for the top players. And the top players got insane amounts of bling or star points. Like, ridiculous amounts. Like, it's just so much.
Yeah.
And so what they did is they took all of the resources that were getting distributed to the highest players and redistributed it across the entire thing so that every single league gets you bling. And so now it's way easier to get a lot more bling in the lower leagues. And that's good. And I like that. But I think they need to redistribute it. I think they need to make it so that not every single rank is worth 250. And then they need to change the reset so that it's not so harsh. Because as it is right now, the reset makes so little sense. But they can't just revert the reset without also adjusting the bling prices. Because otherwise, everybody will just get insane amounts of bling from Power League.
Yeah, and not just that. I feel like it's a lot harder this season, to even progress, move up in leagues.
It is.
I think everyone can agree on that. It's like, oh yeah, you introduced bling. We're getting more bling from like progressing and being up in leagues. But I think a lot of people will tell they've been actually dropping more than they've been actually like moving up, right?
I got more bling the first season. Oh, but the second season, my bling is going to be a little bit less. And then eventually it's going to get to the point where I'm down in like silver. And I'm not getting hardly any bling at all. And like, maybe it would even be worse than it was in the regular Power League. So clearly I need to do some changes there.
That's definitely to the ELO system. Like, give us more ELO, especially if we're like, winning multiple games in a row. We should definitely get more
That's
ELO.
a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, they could have streak rewards. So that if you win like 2 matches in a row, it gives you even more. And then if it gives
more, yes.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Maybe they don't even have to adjust the bling amounts. Maybe they don't even have to adjust the reset amount. They just need to change how much you're actually rewarded for wins.
Yes.
Ash, you're a smart man. That would be a simple solution that wouldn't require a ton of reworks or anything like that. I like that. So, other improvements that could be made to Power League. I don't know how you feel about this, and I understand Supercell's hesitation with this, but I would love to be able to favorite certain brawlers for certain maps. So, because right now, I don't know how you feel, but like when it's time for me to pick my brawler, you've got like 10 seconds, and I'm like sitting there like,
It's so stressful.
What should I do? Which brawler should I pick? You're going through, and then I'm like, oh, I should pick Crow. And I'm like, oh, frick, where's Crow? And you're like scrolling. Oh, whoopsie, I smacked the mic. And you can't find Crow, and then you're just like, I'll just pick this random brawler. And then you're like, why did I pick Edgar?
It's so stressful. Oh my goodness. So many brawlers.
There are, I mean, what? There's, I don't know about like a majority, but like, I don't, you probably only play 20 brawlers each season, right? In Power League, probably? That's a guess?
Yes, around there. Yeah,
20.
Actually, that's a very good guess.
20 out of the 60 brawlers, 68 brawlers when Hank comes out. So just let us like favorite our brawlers or like do something like that. Now, the reason why I think that Supercell doesn't want to allow us to star brawlers is because they want players to not get locked in. Like, if I star Carl and then I'm like not sure who to play, then I might pick Carl every single time, and I'm never playing any other brawler ever.
I mean, people already do that. They already do that. They just pick the same brawlers.
That's true, but if you have like your 5 brawlers right there, it's just not. It's like, I can see why they would do it. So my suggestion would be is just allow players to. Oh, and also like the meta changes and stuff. Just to they could make it so that your favorites just get reset every season.
Oh yeah. After every balance change, reset it. All your favorites or something like that.
Yeah, somebody said, hey, Kairos, separate the brawlers by rarity. Yes, that's a really good idea, and I like that. But there's 68 brawlers in the game.
Yeah. I'm still going to get lost.
Without looking at all the brawlers, I can get... Like, the number of people that have every single brawler and their rarity memorized for 68 brawlers off the top, that's hard. Yeah. That's really hard. Like, there's a lot of brawlers in the game and a lot of different rarities. That's hard. You also, they don't have alphabetical searching. That would be a huge thing that I feel like they should do. In fact, I need to write that down. Alphabetical searching. I'm writing this down. I have a list. I don't know how you feel, but I always have this list of, like, suggestions that I want to send to Supercell when when I'm ready. When it's time for Power League, I'm like, okay, Supercell, here's my 68 things I want you to improve with Power League.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so I'd like to be able to favorite brawlers. I would also really like to be able to see what power level my brawlers, what my teammates' brawlers are when they try and swap a brawler.
Switch, yeah.
So I had this happen once where somebody suggested they like, oh, hey, swap with me. And I'm like, hey, if they want Penny, then, and I'm playing Penny, then that sounds good. Like, I'm good with playing their brawler. I'll do it. So I swap with them, and then they have a level 2 Penny. And I'm like, why did you swap with me?
That actually happened to me earlier today. Where, like,
did it?
Yeah, some guy wanted Surge. I'm like, okay. And then we swap. He gave me a Brawler because I was playing on my free-to-play account. And that Brawler was only like level 1 or something.
Oh, so your Brawler was only level 1? Or his was?
Yeah. No, mine.
Oh, so
my Brawler.
So you don't even know what the swap is. Yeah, so they should do that.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Also, I don't know if this annoys you, but when you change a gadget or a star power or a gear on a brawler in Power League, it doesn't reflect on your account. So, like, what I mean is, let's say you're playing Meg one match and you swap her gear. Then the next time you play Meg on a different Power League match,
oh yeah,
that gear you'll have to swap it again. So that's annoying to me. It's a small little thing.
Another thing is suggesting star powers and gadgets. Let us be able to do that. A lot of times I have teammates or they forget, right? Your teammates sometimes forget. So imagine like you're playing Nita on Heist and you want that you want hyper bear, of course, right? But your teammates running the other star power, but they don't realize. They're like, oh shoot, yo, you gotta change your star power. So I'm like constantly like tapping back and forth my star power, trying to like make it known, right?
Yeah. You're like
so
signaling to him like, swap your star power, swap your star power, and he's like not paying attention. He's like, dude, Ash can't even decide what star power he's gonna do. That's weird. Yeah. No, that's a really great suggestion. UI might be a little bit tricky, but honestly, all you have to do is just tap the star power and then suggest the other one, and then a little pop-up pops up and is like, hey, so-and-so suggested this one. And you're like, cool. Tap it. That wouldn't be too hard.
That would be so good, yeah.
That would be good.
Gadgets, gears as well, like suggesting.
Yeah,
gears.
because even in those last 10 seconds, where you're just sitting there and waiting and you can swap your stuff like that, even during those last 10 seconds, that's not a lot of time if you want to swap your star power gadget and 2 gears. It's a lot.
Not just that, communication in game for Power League. I feel like so many people want this. You know, I want to go on the left lane, right? Like let there be communication, or like a switch or something, like a sign, like being able to communicate with your random teammates.
That would be cool. That would be cool. That might be a little bit sweaty.
It will, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, the developers are always trying to like figure out like, what can we do that is good for a lot of people that's like not too sweaty that people feel like there's too much going on. That'd be hard. But yeah, I would like that. Personally, as a player, I would enjoy that. Kind of interesting. This is total side topic. I watched a video on one of the developers of Fruit Ninja, actually. And he talked about how all the players, one of their first pieces of feedback was to make it all complicated and like really like skill-based and stuff like that. And he just did not want to do that. He just like avoided the skill-based decisions and made it like super free to play for everybody, so that like it's not confusing and stuff like that. And that ended up being what made the game so popular. So like there's definitely power in simplicity when it comes to stuff like that. But I don't know. Sorry, that was totally off topic. I like game developer stuff. I watch a lot of podcasts on game development.
I feel like the issue is only like at the top again, like just the top 1% of players.
Yeah.
Where like you're playing super competitive Power League and there's no way to communicate with teammates, right? Or like strategize. Oftentimes that can be a big problem, because when you're playing at the highest level in Brawl Stars, you're playing 3v3 with completely random teammates and you don't have any sort of communication. A lot of times games can come down to like just it can be very inconsistent. It can be very like random, right? Where like, hey, you're a primo, why are you on the Shelly side, right? For example, right? I'm trying to get my teammate to switch with me, but I'm not able to because there's no way to communicate that, and he's not doing it, right? Yeah. And that leads to frustration, and that's why teammates like they'll shoot at you or do this, and then the primo will be like, yo, why are you shooting at me? It's not my fault, you're losing your lane. The reason I'm losing my lane is because I'm trying to switch with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not losing my lane. I'm just trying to switch with you.
I'm just trying to swap with you because you're struggling against that brawler, and you would be better against this brawler. And
but there's no way to like communicate that. You know what I mean?
We need like 9 pins or pins, so that you can like hyper focus on like your pins of like go this direction, you know, or whatever. Which is an option. I mean, you could do that. You could have like total casual pin builds. And then you can have the pro pin builds where everybody knows, okay, when you use this specific Leon pin, then it means go to the left lane. I mean, honestly, they could do that. The problem with pins and sprays, though, is that the enemy team can see it. So you couldn't communicate that way. I'm with you, though. That'd be cool. Any other things on Power League that you wanted to touch on? I mean, we talked about a lot of the different ways that we could improve Power League, but I don't know how you feel. Power League, it really is my favorite way to play the game.
No, yeah, for sure. Ever since they've introduced it, it's been the game mode that I've played the most, and mainly because like, you know, trophy pushing can be quite a grind.
Yeah.
Whereas Power League, you can just pick it up whenever, and being a competitive player, if I'm in higher leagues, I can get more competitive games than I would get for trophy pushing, right? In trophy pushing, a lot of times, more than 90% of the time, you're just bullying people that are not in your level, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like let's say you haven't played Crow in a super long time and your Crow's at like 700 trophies, right? And if you're like, oh, I want to do a competitive match with Crow, in order for you to do that, you have to push him to like 1200 or to like 1200. And that takes so long, and then you get a competitive match, and then you can't play against those people again until like later. And so anyway, Yeah, it's just like I'm with you. That's a big reason why I like Power League as well, because there's so many brawlers in the game and I don't have time to push them all.
I guess one thing we didn't cover is Team Power League. I would like to see Team Power League being improved.
Yeah, almost everybody plays solo, huh?
Nobody plays Team Power League, even though it's the better game mode. You get to choose the teammates you want and compete with, but there's so many issues with it. And one of the biggest is like how easy it is to exploit it. Another issue is nobody plays it in higher league. So it's like in North America, it's like nobody gets to Masters in Team Power League just because there's no one playing it at, you know, like even Legendary. Like you're never gonna get to Masters. I think there's only a very few number of people that actually managed to get to Masters in North America, legit. Whereas like 90%, I think, I'm just saying a random number, but
yeah,
most of the people that made to Masters in like North America did it through like cheating their way, because it's so easy to exploit it. You can just, I don't know if I want to say this, but like let's just say it's like super easy to exploit the matchmaking and just win trade and get to Masters really easily just by exploiting the matchmaking. So they definitely need to fix that, I feel like. And Team Power League, I feel like, has so much potential, especially competitively. Because imagine, even as a competitive player, right? Pro players, the only way you're getting good competitive games is through scrims now, right?
Yeah.
You gotta do scrims. But if you had Team Power League, where like you had other pro players and teams playing, right? Then you can have a constant source where like you can just get competitive games that way, right? Which we just don't have right now.
So I got a question for you. How would you improve Team Power League to make it so that more people would want to play?
Yeah, that's
because that's the
question.
Hard thing. Because you're right. Team Power League struggles. People don't typically play it very much, and because people don't play it very much, fewer people play it. Like it's a catch-22, it goes back and forth, right? So how would you do it? I feel like the only way that they could reasonably do it is to make it so that you earn bling for both your solo and your club and your Team Power League.
I think that's a good idea.
But the problem is with that is that that feels forced a lot.
Yeah, and it's too much.
It is too much, I think. What is Spen? He says, oh, tactical pins. So Spen, actually VLAC suggested tactical pins, that you can do specific pins that your enemy team can't see. I like that idea. I'm going to suggest Supercell. I don't know if it will come in an update, but I like that. But yeah, I don't know how they can improve Team Power League, because I agree with you. But I don't know. And maybe we should talk about the social aspect of Brawl Stars, and because we did kind of plan on talking about social. But I feel like the big reason why people don't do Team Power League is simply because it's so much easier to just play with randoms, and you don't have to find 2 other people. So matchmaking, like once you reach a certain, like for example, you reach Mythic, you just can't find teammates. You just can't find opponents to play with. Yeah.
Like no one's playing it. Like yeah, you're playing against the same team every hour. Like you're just the same 3 teams every hour that are competing in Team Power. So, yeah, major issues with that game mode.
Okay, I'm going to call this segment the social state of the game. Okay. Social. My question for people, let's see here. Where's my notes on social? I have one question for people. Do you play with friends / club mates a majority of the time? Or maybe not even majority, 40% of the time. So I'm gonna add a poll here. Do you play with friends / club mates 40% of the time plus? Yes or no? We're gonna ask the community here. What about you? What do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
I play with friends. I play with club members at times. For the club league, just quickly deal with
Is it
just quickly finish.
Do you do it the majority of the
No,
time? Like,
no,
if you had to
no.
give a percentage of solo play versus team
Thing is,
play,
though,
where is it?
The thing is, though, it really depends on what I'm doing. Like, am I pushing masteries? Am I pushing trophies? Am I doing?
We're just saying
power league?
overall. Just like right now, how you play the game
Just
right now.
just recently, it would just be power league where I'm just playing with
Solo.
randoms.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not really playing with any friends, club members.
So I play almost exclusively solo, except for Power League. Or yeah, Club League.
Yes.
Club League I play with my teammates. It's just, I mean, yeah, because the game makes me. That's honestly why.
No, it's true. It's true. I feel like and I feel like that's what the results are gonna show. Like most of your viewers, they're gonna say solo. I feel like 90% of them are probably gonna say like they just play with the randoms most of the time. And I feel like the issue with that is like just playing with friends. If I want to get in, like I just have like say 30 minutes of playtime, right? Which most of us are casual players, right? We just play Brawl Stars on our free time, right? So say I have 30 minutes available, right? I want to play some Brawl Stars, but I don't want to like hop into a room and invite friends because I know that's gonna kind of become competitive, right? Like we're now playing for trophies and we got to do this. I got to play a certain brawler and this. Whereas if I'm just playing with randoms, I get to do whatever I want. I get to play, Mortis on Brawl Ball, say, even though I know I'm going to lose, at least I'm going to have fun. I'm going to play Power League with the randoms. I know I'm going to get some horrible randoms, but whatever, right? Like if we lose, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to let down my teammates, right? You know what I mean? You do have that pressure where oftentimes you're like, we're playing Power League with two other teammates, and now I don't want to like sweat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So my poll, 70% of the people said that they do not play, 70% of the people said they do not play with friends or club mates at least 40% of the time. So 70% are playing less than 40% of the time. They're playing a good majority with solos. So here's a question. Do you think this is an issue that Supercell should even try to fix? Because
I don't think it's an issue.
League, we'll talk more about Club League later. I don't like having to be forced to play with my club mates.
Yes.
It's actually my least favorite part of Club League. That's, I think, a big reason why people don't play Club League is because they don't want to have to matchmake with their clubs and schedule and figure it all out.
Yes, I hate that.
I hate it. I really do.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, oh, this is cool. They're like encouraging people to, but you can still do it with solos. But no, you can't do it with solos because you're going to lose. I mean, you might not. You probably actually won't. We'll talk about that later. But I hate being forced. So do you think that Supercell should artificially like somehow encourage people to play with friends or teammates?
No. I think playing playing solo is a big thing right now. Being forced to play with teammates, it's beneficial, of course, in the sense that it's gonna be easier to progress, make trophies, right? Obviously, like I never if I'm pushing trophies with a certain brawler and I want to reach like 1,000 trophies, for example, with that brawler, I'm never gonna play with randoms. I'm never gonna play with randoms. I'm gonna play with my own teammates, friends, right? People I can trust that are good, right?
Yeah, it's so much easier. That is the other time that I will play with teammates or clubmates or friends or whatever, is when I really want to push a brawler. It's so much better. And you know what? That actually brings up a good point. Brawl Stars is more fun and way more enjoyable to play with friends. Like, a couple of situations.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's say you got a work buddy and you guys play Brawl Stars at lunch every day. That's like the best way to play the game. Or if you've got a couple of brothers or siblings or whatever, and you guys play Brawl Stars every day. That's so fun. Or you got two best friends that you hang out with all the time, and you play Brawl Stars together in person. That is like the most fun way to play the game. I love doing that. Right?
That's actually how most people, I think, got into Brawl Stars.
Yeah.
Everyone I talk to in real life, I'm like, oh, how'd you get into the game? Oh, my friend introduced it.
Yeah.
This happened, that happened. My roommate, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, right? Like, it's always someone else introducing the game to you. I feel like.
Yeah. But I don't like being forced to play with random people online that I haven't met in person. So I'm with you on that. But, you know, it is kind of funny. I like the challenges, like the special event challenges that pop up. I also play with clubmates and friends then as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And those are really fun. I actually really enjoy those a lot. That's, you know, interestingly enough, that's the one time that I enjoy being forced to play with friends.
Yeah, the challenges.
They're fun. They're fun. You guys do it together. There's a sense of progression. Something serious is happening, and like, and I don't even.
It's not overwhelming.
I don't even grab sweaty players. Like I don't get pros. Like the last time I asked you to come help me do a challenge was years ago. I think it was I think it was one of the first 15 win ones, right? Right.
I think so. Yeah.
It was a long time ago. I've got a couple of friends that I play almost every challenge with, and I mean they're good at the game. But like, you know, I just like have fun. I have fun playing those with my friends because I play with my friends, not because we're good and we're stomping everybody. You know?
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, I have friends like that. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. Social game. Do you think there's anything they could do to really improve the social game in a natural way?
Hmm.
Because it'd be fun to be able to form those relationships, but I don't know. I think maybe that's.
I do think Club League does need a rework somehow.
Yeah.
Without having us without forcing us to like schedule and stuff with our friends. Like we all have, you know, busy lives and we're not all at like online at the same time, right? So I'll have like I feel really bad like if I'm busy, right? I'm busy and my two other friends who are doing Club League, they're online and they're playing, right? They're about to play, right? I can't make it. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm out right now. I'm outside. Like, I'm unable to play with you guys, right? And I feel so bad because it's the only time we get to play. You know what I mean? So, I feel like something needs to be done about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna fix that, but
I don't know. That's a hard thing to fix, and I don't know that it really needs to be improved that much. The solo experience is actually pretty good now. Would you agree with that? Playing with randoms? How do you feel about playing with randoms now?
on Power League or on ladder?
Just when you play with randoms.
No, it's never good.
You hate it. You don't like
I hate it,
randoms.
but like at the same time, I kind of have like no choice. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I want to play Power League, solo Power League. You know I'm gonna get some really bad teammates. Sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And I guess I've become accustomed to that, right? Like, obviously you can't expect to get the best players, but I do wish that it was a little more competitive, or I don't know, like
This is why we need prestige, man.
yes,
We need prestige,
or like,
because
or
then
for
when you get
example-
really high, then all of your randoms should be close to your prestige level. Close.
or
I don't know.
or the report, you know, system actually making a difference, right? Like, I don't want to have to deal with the, you know, players that I know they're just gonna constantly throw or not try. And one of the things that I really hate about Power League right now, or like just solo play, is like when you lose with someone, there's a very good chance you're gonna get that same person on your team again. Next game, right? And you're like, oh, not this guy again. He threw, right? He threw and he shoots at his teammates. He's obviously not trying.
It's like,
and obviously, you know.
And then that also happens to be the time when you have a play again quest and you choose specifically not to hit play again. And you're like, Supercell, if I get out and you put me with them again, you better at least give me credit for that play again, even though I didn't hit it.
Exactly. Like,
I had that exact situation happen this morning, actually.
Yeah. I feel like there needs to be something to improve that.
Yeah,
like,
for the random, I don't know how everybody else feels. Let's see here. So let me just ask another question to the chat here. I'm gonna start a poll here. Do you like playing with randoms? Yes or no? Because for me, how I personally view it, because I'm not a sweaty competitive player. I'm not trying to push trophies really crazy high. If I do, I play with teammates. But if most of the time I'm just hanging out, just playing Brawl Stars, grabbing my resources and whatever, and it's not a big deal for me. And so when I have really bad teammates, honestly, I just kind of find it funny. I'm just like, that was really bad. Or I enjoy knowing that we lost because of somebody other than myself. And I love the end game stats because I can see, yep, they died 7 times. They're the reason why I lost. And I'm like, I feel justified at the end of the match. I'm like, we lost because of my bad teammates. Yay, I don't have to feel bad about myself. That's good.
But then I get frustrated. I'm like, why did you give me this terrible teammate? He died 20 times and only got 1 kill.
Yeah, no, I get that. So it's funny because we asked people, you know, how much of them are playing. You know, 70% said that they do not play with friends. But then 60% of people say that they don't like playing with randoms.
No, yeah, see, look. It's true. I feel like it's even higher. Like
I don't know what they could do to fix it, though.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they could do to improve it.
Like, I know, like, right now, if I go in with, like, 800 trophy brawler on Brawl Ball, the chances of me getting a horrible Mortis teammate is very high. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I know I'm going to most likely lose because of that. I can just tell you that, right? Like, I think we all know this. Like, we want to play with randoms, but we are just going to get that awful Mortis or Edgar player that just scams and does nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, we don't want to, like, I don't want to say we don't have friends. We all have friends. It's just a lot of times we don't want to, like, be an inconvenience, right? You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. No, I get that. And people have different reasons to play with friends or not to play with friends. Okay. Let's talk about Club League then. We've kind of already touched on it. Unless you have more to say about social.
No, I think we've covered.
Okay, Club League. So we're going to start this off with a question. Do you play Club League every week? Or every other week? It's actually every other week. So I'm going to ask everybody here. And I'm curious to see the answer here. Do you play Club League? And when I say Club League, I'm not talking about Club Quests. I'm talking specifically about Club League that you have to spend tickets on, that you get more points if you play with clubmates. I'm not asking if you're playing with clubmates, but do you play Club League every week? You know, maybe you miss one every now and then, but like when I say every week, I mean like all 3 matches, baby. Like you're doing Club League. Like, I want to get my Club League. So I just dropped the poll. And while we're talking about the poll, let me say that, okay, the poll's already showing that a lot of people say yes, but here's where I think that most people don't play Club League. Okay.
I think another question you can ask is whether do you enjoy playing Club League?
We can ask that afterward, but I want to know, do you play Club League? The reason why is because on my free-to-play account, we started a brand new club, and we have been pushing in Club League with the goal to reach Masters. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
We could have promoted every single time clear up until Legendary 2, even if we had lost every single match. If everybody in my club lost every single match, we could have promoted every single time just because we were actively playing and everybody did it. So your club should be at least in Legendary 2 right now if everybody's playing. Okay? So that just paints the picture of the fact that people are not playing Club League. Or the clubs are not willing to kick people out of their clubs to make room for active players. One of those two things are happening. But if you have a full club and everybody is playing Club League, you can lose every single match and get all the way up to like Legendary 2.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I mean, it's crazy. It didn't used to be like that. It used to actually be kind of hard to get to Legendary. But now Legendary 2 is where you have to play with teammates or clubmates, and you have to actually start winning your matches in order for you to promote. And it's not even hard to get into Masters anymore. It's hard to stay in Masters, but you can get into Masters if everybody plays their matches and is like somewhat decent. If you have like pretty good players, you can get into Masters now. Staying in Masters is another story though. That's hard.
Yeah. Me personally, I feel like for the state of Club League, when it first came out, like the first couple of weeks were just so good, right? Like
they were.
You had competition, you had
really
like everyone was playing. But right now, I'm at that point where like it's just something I just completely ignore now. Like, and
Okay,
most
so you don't play Club League.
actually, like, I don't. I actually
That's
don't.
fair.
This is like, I played Club League maybe once or twice last week, like where I played my games.
Okay.
I think just once actually. I've gotten to the point like I used to play it all the time. I never miss a game. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
always do it all the time. I did it for like a whole year, I think, where like I would always do my Club League games, right? But now I'm at that point where like I just don't care. Like I don't find it fun. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't care about the rewards. I'm at that point where like even though my mini accounts need the rewards, I just don't want to put the time for it because I just don't like the just don't like playing Club League, right? Having to organize with teammates, the work needed to do all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would just play with the randoms, for example, instead of just form a team. Even though forming a team is more beneficial, right?
Yeah.
More points.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
I felt like Club League had so much potential to be so good, right? You know what I mean?
does,
And
yeah.
that's what disappoints me. I feel so disappointed because of the potential it has. We're not like,
so here's another question for you.
watching it.
Let's
Yeah.
say they removed the bonus points that you get for playing with clubmates. So you can either play with clubmates or you can play with randoms. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the same amount of points. Just winning or losing is what matters. At that point, do you start playing Club League more? Because it's basically
Oh.
just Power League.
Nope.
No, okay, so tell me why.
Then I know like the randoms I get are just still gonna lead to inconsistent results. Like I might not be able to carry those randoms. You know what I mean? Like
So if,
if
at
you
that
have
point, if you're going to do that, you might as well just be playing Power League because that's what you care about.
exactly like if it becomes if it's the same amount of points, then guess what? More people are gonna be playing solo, and if more people, more competitive players are playing solo, it's gonna be harder to win now because you're gonna have more. It's pretty much gonna be like Power League where like, you know, it's gonna come down to the random teammates you have oftentimes, right? Whether they're good or not. So like, it's not gonna fix the issue. I feel like.
So 75% of the people actually responded and said that they do play Club League like every time. And
yeah.
I think and I'm not too surprised to see that. I'm surprised that it's that high. But I think the reason why is because you get so much progression. See, you and me, our accounts are maxed out. And so we don't really need the progression. We have all of the Club League skins. And so there's literally no reason to do it at all because our accounts are maxed out and we can just play. Like, we're going to get enough resources every single season that we're going to be able to stay maxed out.
Yeah, but for these players, it kind of feels forced because of
It
the
does.
progression benefit. You feels forced for you. But the question I want to know is like, you enjoy this process of playing Club League,
So let's
you know,
ask that
forming
then.
teams, getting your friends to play with you.
Okay, so
Do
I'm
you
going to
enjoy
ask,
the whole Club
do
League?
you enjoy Club League? And that's everything that you just mentioned, right? Do you enjoy like teams and everything like that? And like just overall, do you enjoy Club League? We'll ask that and see if people think that, you know, they find it fun. They find it an engaging piece of content.
I feel like most of them are going
It
to
does
say,
feel worth it when it comes, like, the resources are very good. Like, those resources are insane for how little playtime you have to do. If you only have,
for sure.
like, an hour to play for a whole week, let's just say for some reason your game time is limited to an hour the whole week, that is best spent playing Club League. You'll get more progression in that hour doing Club League than anything else in the game, and it's not even close. So the progression rewards are really good, and so I think that's why people do it. It looks like 63% of people are saying they do not enjoy Club League.
Oh, see, a lot of people don't enjoy it. It just feels like you're forced to play it because of benefits, right?
Well,
because
the thing is, though, is like you're kind of forced to do quests and forced to do Club League or in all these things to progress. But the difference is that you enjoy doing quests. Or I think quests are enjoyable. You get that dopamine reward when you see like you completed this quest, you get 250 credits, and you're like, or tokens going towards your Brawl Pass. You're like, oh yes, like that's good, that's fun and exciting. But Club League doesn't feel that way. So how could they change Club League to make it feel more exciting, to make you want to play it regardless of the rewards? Because the progression rewards, they're clearly good. They're good enough. People will play it even if they don't like it. So what can they do to make Club League better? First of all, I think they should remove the requirement of playing with club mates.
Okay.
Okay? Like, I don't think you should get bonus points. I was fine experimenting with it for a while, but that has been my least, that has been my most frustrating experience with Club League, is sending messages to people on Discord, trying to get people online, sitting there waiting for them. I've got one person on. It's like, hey, do you want to play Club League? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let me DM somebody on Discord. Let me grab them on and bring them in. And then I'm waiting. They're like, oh, yeah, I can be there in 15 minutes. And you're like, okay, cool. So then you're sitting there with your friend and you're like, hey, you want to like go do another match? And then they're like, okay, so we'll go do something else. But like, you really want to do Club League. Like you just wasted 15 minutes because you could have been doing something else, right?
I feel like you hit the mark on that. That's definitely it. Like, I don't want to be restricted to only playing with my club members. Let me play with, you know, whomever I want, my friends, right?
Oh, you can play with anybody.
Yes, just allow me to play with anyone, right? And this way,
could people use that to like abuse the matchmaking system somehow?
No, I don't
Probably
think so.
Not.
Because see, look, think of the end rewards based off of overall progression or whatever accumulated by the entire club, right? So say like you have your club, right, of 30 players, and allow those players to play with whomever they want, their friends or whomever, right? And they're like accumulating trophies for their brawlers, right? And those trophies get converted into points, right? Into say like well, I don't want to say like a chest or anything because we removed chest, but say like, you know, a club chest where like...
They could add a chest back in, though, for clubs.
Okay, yeah. The more points you get, right? The more trophies you get as a club, right? So say like by the end of the week, your whole club pushes like 10,000 trophies as a conglomerate, right? Those 10,000 trophies get converted into points, which end up into rewards, right? Wouldn't that feel a lot more rewarding, where like you have the freedom to play with whomever you want, as long as you're getting trophies? Those trophies are also being added to your club. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, those trophies are getting added as points for your club. Or maybe
not even trophies, because there's different trophy amounts at different levels, but like maybe just wins.
Yeah. Wins, yeah. Or yeah, exactly, wins. And you get points for that, right? You get like club points, right?
Which is basically what club games are.
Yeah. Exactly.
So did they remove the power match aspect of Club League and just make it club quests?
Maybe. The other thing like I really liked about Club League when it was first introduced was like the competitiveness. You had like the top clubs. I was like, oh yeah, finally we're gonna have the top clubs facing off against each other, right? But that's not what happened, right? Like you're just playing against random players. Yeah.
Clan mastery, somebody suggested. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a developer. I don't know the actual answer for it.
Masteries.
Yeah, I don't even know how that would work. But so like, I'm not a developer. I don't know what the answer is to make clubs more engaging and exciting. And I will say that like, I think that Club League is like in a decent spot just because of how rewarding the resources are. Like, it's in a decent spot just because the progression is so good.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you don't want to do something that feels forceful, mainly because of like the rewards. You know what I mean? Like you can just say like
exciting, yeah.
Exactly. Like for example, imagine they made Team Power League rewards really good, right? And now you're forcing players to play something that they don't like. You know what I mean? But like, or I don't know, what's something people don't like playing? Say like you're forced. Siege, or say like you're forced to play solo Power League in the high trophy range where like everyone's just teaming or spinning, right? Like
yeah,
and you're giving more rewards based off of that, right? Like I don't know, something. I don't want it to feel. I don't want it to be forced. Like you're just giving me rewards
Yeah.
Because
Personally, I really like the club quests every other week. And I think that getting those club quests, you know, twice as fast when playing with club mates, I think that's the perfect balance. It's like, you don't have to. I complete the club quests every single week, whether or not I actually play with club mates. But the club mates there are really nice. I don't know if I told you this, but 58% of players are in the poll are saying they do not enjoy Club League. It's a lot.
58% don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a lot compared to like, you know, how many are actually playing and how many don't like it. So it tells you a lot, right? Like, you have a lot of people that are playing it, but they're not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And the main reason they're playing it is for the benefits of
yeah, it's really hard too because, and we've talked about this a little bit, if the, like maybe the social aspect of Brawl Stars is just too hard to fix, and it would take too much developer effort when they could do more to improve the solo experience, which is where people are playing anyway. So do they really try and focus on Club League, or do they just kind of like let it sit on a shelf for a while and they save it for later when they actually feel like they've done everything they can do to improve the solo experience? For example, Masteries was an awesome update that is great for solo experience. I mean, you can also do it with teammates and stuff like that, but like solo experience is great for Masteries. Even bling and stuff like that, that affects everybody positively, whether you're playing with teammates or not. Like, they could focus on updates that are more exciting. So I don't know how they could possibly fix Club League. One thing that I will say is that having to schedule with club mates is frustrating. And another thing that I find frustrating is the actual shop. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this.
Oh, yes.
But it is 25% more effective for you to spend your club coins on power points than it is for you to spend them on gold.
Coins.
Yeah, or coins. And that's really annoying because there is a method to convert those power points to coins does exist within the game. So, and it sounds super backwards, and I've explained this in videos before, but there is a way for you to convert the power points that you buy from the club shop into coins, and you get 25% more coins by spending it on club coin or on power points instead. And the way to do that is to get all of your power points from the club shop, and then you completely reach the end of the bonus rewards for the Brawl Pass, and then you open those up when you're at max out power points. And so you no longer get power points from the Brawl Pass, but they get converted into coins. So in a very, very roundabout method, you're getting 25% more coins for your club coins by spending on power points. It's so backwards. It's so weird. It's this strange loophole that if you know how to do it, then it's great because you're getting 25% more coins, but you have to wait till the end of the season. You have to open up a bunch of bonus rewards at the very end. It's just so weird, and it's just strange. So that's my other issue with it.
And not just that, with like masteries now, you can just by getting to that first rank, you get a lot of coins.
Yeah,
with those brawlers. So like that kind of nerfed coins in the brawl in the club league shop.
Yeah. So I think they just need to buff the coins in the club league shop by 25%. Please don't nerf the power points that you get by 25%. Just buff the coins.
Yes, yes.
So that's my only other issue with Club League. Yeah, just a random thing. Okay, you want to talk about something like so not what you typically do? Map Maker.
Ooh, yeah. Oh man,
the state of Map Maker.
A lot of these things that we're talking about, Kairos, today, the state of the game, I just realized like how disappointed I am in the game. in the game
to be clear to everybody watching, I really love Brawl Stars. And honestly, I'm having so much fun playing it. This is the most fun that I've had playing Brawl Stars. And I don't know if it's because of all the win updates that we've had. We've had win after win after win for updates this year. We really have. Or maybe it's my free-to-play account. I don't know, one of the two. But I'm having the most fun playing Brawl Stars that I've ever had, and I'm really enjoying it. And so when we talk about all the things we're disappointed with, it's not that we are actually disappointed with the developers or disappointed with the game. It's just there's aspects about the game. And I don't know how you feel. But I kind of feel like what happens is and this is not true of recent. This is more like updates that happened last year and the previous year. They would come out with this update, and it would be really cool, and we'd have this new feature, but there would be some glaring issues with it. Like,
and then they just dump it.
And then they don't fix it immediately. And I understand them not wanting to fix it immediately, because sometimes you want a full season's worth of data to even see if the issue that everybody's complaining about is actually an issue. And a lot of times they're not. But it's still, what they do is they release an update. They release Club League. And it's first really, let's not actually talk about Club League, because so they released Map Maker.
We can talk about Map Maker, yeah.
Map Maker. So they released Map Maker, and it's really cool. And everybody's like, oh, this is awesome. I love it. This is exciting. But it could be better if we had this. And Supercell's like, okay, cool. We'll let it sit for a couple of months and see how it feels, and we'll work on something else. And then a couple of months happens, and then they're working on something else. And they release something else, and that something else we're like, okay, we like this, but it would be even better if we did this. And then Supercell's like, oh, okay, we can improve that, but we're going to focus on this other thing first. And the cycle continues until eventually we have all these different things that are left in the game that I don't want to say feel unfinished, but just aren't as good as I would like them to be. Now, the reason why I say that we can't really say this for the most recent updates is because I like the progression system change from boxes to what we have now, which, well, I have issues with it, but we'll talk about that later. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I really like Bling. I think that's a really fantastic new system. I don't pretty much have any suggestions to improve it. I really like Mastery. I don't really have any suggestions to improve Mastery. This year, starting like December, I've had win after win after win after win. But before then, we have all these things that I feel like could be improved. Sorry, I just got so long-winded and kind of came full circle back to Map Maker, which you say you're kind of disappointed in. So tell me why you're disappointed in Map Maker.
Because I felt like it had so much potential in the game. I thought it was going to be the next big thing. That ability to like make maps. You have infinite ways to play the game, right?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can I pause you just really fast? I'm so sorry. The reason why is because I want to go back to what I was just saying, where they kind of release updates that I feel like aren't as good as they could be. And a big reason why the developers actually do that is because if they take time to go into the past and improve old features, that means that they can't take developer time to add new features into the game. So if they would have taken the time to add more features to Map Maker, make Club League better, and do all that, maybe we wouldn't have Bling by now. Maybe we wouldn't have Masteries by now. And that makes the updates boring, right? So people are going to complain either way. So anyway, that's why they do it that way. It's just kind of frustrating, and I just wish that they had more time. That's really what I want. I just wish they had more time to develop for stuff. But I completely agree with you when it comes to Map Maker. It had so much potential. They were missing it. I'm so sorry for pausing you. But I just feel like I had to clarify that for people thinking that I was worried that people thought that I think that Supercell's doing a bad job. It's more like I understand why they made the decisions, and I just wish they had more time. That's really what it comes down to.
No, yeah, Supercell has been like killing it.
They really have. Brawl Stars has been killing it. I don't know about Clash Royale.
The last 2 or 3 updates have been like some of the best we've ever had. So like they're on the roll right now. But other than that, we're talking about the past. We're talking about features such as Map Maker, which we thought was going to be the next big thing. Didn't hit our expectations, right?
It did at first. I just felt like my expectation was that they would continue to add more stuff so that it would become the big great thing that I envisioned. It's a really great start. I mean, they specifically released it and called it Map Maker Beta. Like that's what it was when they released it. They were like, "Hey guys, this is Map Maker Beta." And they did some improvements. They added some more things. And I don't know when it stopped being beta. Maybe that was when all of the game modes were in it. Because at first it was just 3 game modes. It was Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, and Showdown, right? It's something like that. It was a while ago.
Gem Grab, Bounty, Brawl Ball.
I don't know what Bounty was at start.
I think...
Duo Showdown was definitely not in there. I don't know.
Duo Showdown was not there. Brawl Ball came later on.
What'd you say?
Oh, Brawl Ball came later on.
Did it? Okay. Either way, when they first released Map Maker, you couldn't create maps for all the game modes. and you actually still can't currently. But you know, I don't know if we should be able to create volley brawl maps in that.
Oh yeah. No one's gonna want to. I feel like.
Well, I would.
You would? Okay.
Well, the thing is I loved the map maker at the very start, and all of a sudden we had like this new evolution of cheese game modes, like boat battles, or like the showdown level where everybody spawns right in the middle, and there's a bunch of boxes, and you're on an island, and you have to like I enjoy those. They're not competitive. When Map Maker first came out, I feel like we were all like, "Oh, cool! They're gonna be able to like make some of the best maps in the game now, the most competitive maps." And instead, what we got was absolute cheese.
Yeah. That was great, right? You know, it felt refreshing. It was new. It was like, oh, you know, what cheese have I got to doing today, right? You were always excited for that, right? You're like, oh, what crazy map is gonna be out today?
Yeah.
You remember those days? Like, and you were
fun.
like, I can make content with it too as well.
It was the peak of Brawl Stars on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was for sure, but it certainly felt like it on my channel, even though I wasn't releasing Map Maker content.
Oh no, people like OJ were like killing it.
Yeah.
And it had, like I said, it had like so much potential to be great. But right now, I hope that Supercell is not content with the state of Map Maker. And the reason I say that is because Map Maker is actually one of the most played game modes right now, Kairos. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. Well, here, let's ask the chat, because the chat's a very different thing. But just the question: do you play Map Maker? And this could be any form, but like, you know, every week, do you play Map Maker? Maybe even every day. I don't know. That could be voting on new maps. That could be playing the actual map, but do you play Map Maker? But yes, you're right. Map Maker is one of the most played, especially in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
Personally, no, you could say it. I don't think.
I think Frank shared it somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. He shared it.
He told me personally. He told us privately, but. Sorry, Frank, if I wasn't supposed to say that.
No, I don't think it.
At some point in time, it was really popular in Japan.
Yeah. Like me personally, I never play Map Maker now.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of people play it, and it's simply for like the quest, right? It's one of the easiest ways to complete your quest.
And if you vote on the Map Maker 3 times a day, you get your total, your max of 30 tokens.
So like, this is my concern. I don't want Supercell to look at their data, because you know, I feel like that's what they look at the most. Is, hey, are people playing it? And they are. But the reason they're playing Map Maker is because they're using it as a way to complete. Because
they don't care about trophies.
Yeah, it's not about trophies. They just want to complete their quest, right? Now, there's multiple ways to look at that. Is that a positive? Is that a good thing that, you know, people are playing it because now you have the option to like just play for fun and complete your quest without playing for trophies, right? Without it being competitive, right?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing, or does that take away from the game where like it doesn't feel like you're earning? It doesn't feel like you're actually completing those quests, because it should be a lot more competitive, where like you have something to win or lose in terms of trophies, right?
Yeah, that's another good question. Do you think you should be able to gain trophies in Map Maker?
Yeah, so we had this at first, but then it became a way where like people just exploited it. They're like, oh, you know, remember those heist maps where just instant base rush, quick game.
They would literally like have a match where there was no way to fight the other team, and you would just spawn next to the safe, and the name of the map was like Spike Rush. And so, like, everybody's like, oh, maybe I should play Spike. And then everybody's playing Spike. And it's literally just, like, who could Spike rush the trophy? And so, like, all of a sudden, everybody's Spike trophy counts would just, like, skyrocket. Because you would just play Spike that whole day and get, like, a 1,200 trophy Spike with 0 skill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that Map Maker should be worth trophies.
I think it can.
I don't know. Okay, tell me why.
Okay, so like, why not bring that back where like have a daily map on the Map Maker where it's actually competitively viable? So like have someone in charge, like a moderator, right? Looks at the maps, right? Sees the upvotes or whatever, right? and sees whether that map is competitively viable, right? And it's not simply a map like where like Spike Rush, right? And enlist that map, right? Put it in the queue, right? Okay, you have these maps coming up. Right? Why can't we just have that, right? We have a new map every single day that's competitively viable, right? That we can all play for trophies without it being exploitable, right? Like, why can't we have that?
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing, though, is that creates more work for somebody to pick a map.
I don't think it'll be that much work, right? Like, just...
well, but it's not the fact that it's hard to do. It's the fact that it's a constant thing that somebody has to do. So, like, just imagine, you know, during the middle of summer, pretty much everybody on the team takes a month off in Finland, which I think is a great thing. So they take a month. What do they do? It's just like somebody like, oh, you're on map duty today. So like for that week, they have to pick the map. And it's like, oh, I'm not at work. I'm on my vacation, but I also have to work. Even if it's only 3 minutes for them to choose it, it's 3 minutes that they have to do that takes them away from their work life, right? So that's the issue that I have with it. Because I completely understand what you're saying. I really agree. But it's just like, it would be awesome if it could be an ideal. But I like that idea. I like that idea. I do. Honestly, they could even have, well, I was going to say have people vote on it, like on Twitter, but that's not always a good idea either because, like, people would just vote on the Spike map.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll just pick the map that they can get the trophies the easiest way possible. Yeah, can't have that.
So I have ideas on things that I would really like to see in the map maker, but I need to use the restroom. So I'm going to let you talk, unless you need to use the restroom as well.
No, I think I'll be fine. I'll take over for you.
You take over. You talk about whatever you want. I'll be right back.
Okay. What's up, guys? I
just realized I
Kairos
gotta take my mic off before I go.
Okay.
Be right back.
Is it off now? Use code SBS in the Brawl Stars shop. All right. I guess let's see. What else can we talk about? I'm gonna go through some of your comments that you guys posted on the Twitter space. Let's see if you guys have any questions. Let's see. Andre says, for me, I'm getting less and less star points playing since the first time they expanded the trophy reset 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Sometimes it was just the increase in price of skins, but still, yeah, I agree with you. They definitely did nerf it because, like, right now, after the conversion of star points, right, to blings, skins cost what, almost 2 times as much. But we've already covered that, so we're gonna go on to the next question. Also, this podcast, the Twitter space, is getting recorded, so you are gonna be able to listen to it after it's done. I'm pretty sure Kairos' stream is also being archived, so you should be able to watch the stream as well once it's over. Graveyard says, can you guys talk about teaming? So teaming in solo showdown, that's a major issue. Like Kairos would have a lot of things to say about that. We've done so many things, guys, to fix teaming in showdown, and nothing's worked. I feel like we're at that point where Supercell kind of just gave up on teamers in solo showdown. They've tried. So I was talking about teamers in solo showdown.
Oh, dude,
that's a major issue, and we've tried so many ways to fix that over the years. It's been one of the top things that we've been trying to fix, but I feel like we're at that point where like it's impossible to fix.
Yeah. Okay. So possible. And I do want to talk about that. I just wrote that down on our notes of things to talk about. Okay. Because literally the match was a bunch of people teaming on my stream. I'm not sure if you were watching that.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't watching that, but that's high trophy showdown for you.
Oh, it's so awful. Okay, map maker. So I have some suggestions, and these are just like ideas, and I don't know if Supercell should add them all or whatever. But there's small things, and okay. So we talked about the fact that we were kind of disappointed with the fact that Mapmaker didn't become what it could be. So let's talk about what we envision Mapmaker to be. And for me, I don't know how you feel, but I envisioned that Mapmaker would start out as Mapmaker and then would evolve into Mode Maker, where you can create a mode, basically. And so that means that you would have to be able to adjust a variety of things that you can't right now in the game, like win conditions. So, and you could change it so that, like, instead of having to, like, you could have like a sudden death brawl ball match where you adjust it so that it doesn't take 2 wins to win that brawl ball match. You'd only have to score 1. The first team to score 1 ball wins, right? Or they could do it the opposite, where it takes 5 matches and it's just like a 1v1 brawl ball match, and you have to get 5 goals to win, right? And maybe they even allow you to force different people to play specific brawlers. So when you play this mode is specifically, I don't know, like hide and seek. Okay, you have a hide and seek game mode where one person is Bo, and he has to find all of the other 8-bits, and he has to kill all of them, right?
Speaking of hide and seek, Snake Prairie, when it was back in beta, when we didn't have all these star powers and gadgets that you can just use, it was so much fun, right? Hide and seek in Snake Prairie, actually, like, shooting enemies without being able to see them, or just sneaking up on them. It was so much fun. Yeah, and I missed that. Like, I missed those types of
mini
that
games.
Type of
game
mini
modes.
games,
game modes that you can make.
Yeah.
Now, it's hard to create a mode maker, but that's what I wanted. And so there's a lot of different things that I feel like they could do to kind of make it a mode maker without officially calling it mode maker, like disabling showdown smoke, so that you can just like play a showdown map and it will last for 13 minutes and 38 seconds, which is the maximum amount of time you can be in any match ever. That gives you plenty of time to like set up different game modes and stuff like that, and like allow a big boss to spawn, and maybe be able to tweak how much health that big boss has or how fast that big boss is in comparison to everybody else. I would love a host mode where you can host a game, but you're not a contestant in it, so that I could like create a map and have specific rules, and then I can just bring 10 people in, and then I'm able to watch it live without any delay, without any spectate delay. Right?
Or what if you had other powers, like you can shoot meteors or something?
Oh, that would be super dope. Like
as the host, right?
Oh, dude. Oh, I love that idea. You're literally like, okay, you're just like tapping on people and like throwing meteors on them, like you're playing God, summoning like meteors raining down on the players. Oh my gosh.
And what if you had 2 hosts on the opposing? So you're the blue team host and the red team host, and you're able to deal. You're able
blowing my mind. This is so. That sounds like so much fun. Admin powers. Somebody said. Oh, I love that. Host mode. I'm adding this. Choose where to spawn meteors. I'm adding that.
Not just meteors.
If I suggest that to Supercell and you see it, you can be like, "Hey, by the way, that was my idea."
say like power boost as well. Oh, I want to give one of my it's a 5v5 game mode, blue team versus red team, right? I'm the host of the blue team. I have this power up that my team just managed to get, right? Who should I put it on, right? I can make that brawler like super large or something, and power his.
Dude. I mean, man, I would love stuff like that. I would love to be able to make it so that you could tap on a specific player, and then they become the big boss from big game, right?
Say you want to like, or say you want to teleport one of your like you're watching your team, right? You teleport that person to a different location, or you swap. There's so many endless things you can do.
Oh, I love that idea. That would be really cool. I love that. Yeah, you just brought a whole other level to my suggestion for host mode. That's super cool.
This could actually be like a different game other than Brawl Stars. Some game developer listening to this, they're like, oh, they're writing it all.
That's right. Oh, dude. I mean, there's so many different things. Somebody in the chat said, yeah, this could be like too complicated. I completely agree with you, and I understand that, but that's the fun of this. Like you don't have to make it so that this is the main way for people to play Brawl Stars. Just make it possible for people to play it this way. There's other things they could do, like all supers, or like one-hit supers. So all of a sudden, everybody's supers charges like stews. So you've got Jeans pulling people all over the place. I would love to be able to like force players to spawn in specific locations so that it's like you could create like a fake story mode where one person spawns on this side and then they have to fight all of these bosses along the way, and all the other players have different power-ups, and then finally you get to the very end where it's like this tiny little Shelly who had to collect the power cubes from all of her defeated enemies to face off against this big boss Stu or whatever. Like choose energy drink spawn locations or adjust spawn timers so that people spawn 1 second after they die or 20 seconds after they die, or disable attacks. I don't know how that would work. You couldn't disable attacks. Disable attacks and enable super so everybody can only attack with their super. I mean, there's so many different ideas.
So many things you can do.
And that's the whole idea of this, though. Somebody said, would this be worth all the developer time? That's a really good question that I don't know the answer to, but I think the answer is yes. I think.
Yeah, because endless possibilities, and not just that, a mode maker will allow you to do what? It'll make you create. It'll help you create new game modes to the game, right?
That's true.
That can become permanent in the future, and I feel like that's huge because you have millions of players playtesting these new modes that players are creating versus only a few people that are helping you develop or try out. Like for example, Brawl, right? That's something only a few people, like the developer team, created, right, or tested out.
Yeah. Well, even Knockout. Knockout. I think a lot of people had an idea for Knockout, and I wouldn't be surprised if the developer team themselves had played other game modes and already had a game mode like Knockout possibly on the list. But the timing was really close, where somebody suggested basically Knockout on Twitter, and the developers saw it. It was recommended to the developers, and then like the next update or soon after that, we had a temporary game mode called Knockout. And then people loved it, and people played it, and the developers were like, whoa, Knockout's one of our most played game modes now. We should make it permanent. And that's what a mode maker would allow them to do, and all of a sudden we could get some actually really fun and exciting game modes that aren't the current.
Exactly. I feel like we'll get way more fun like game modes this way.
Well, or even just more variety.
More variety, yeah, exactly.
So like right now, every single update, they do polls and ask people which 2 game modes should be put into the slot, right? And they can just like put those game modes into the slot. Right now it's volleyball and duels. Last time it was basketball and duels. If we had a mode maker, we would have so many more different kinds of modes, and like every single season, maybe duels all of a sudden isn't one that people vote on every single time, because there's all these random weird ones that are just so funky that like there develops a really strong meta around it, I don't know.
Question for you, Kairos. Do you enjoy volleyball?
I do like volleyball. The meta is very narrow.
Yeah. That's my issue with it.
And I don't play it competitively at all. But when I play volleyball, I really enjoy it because I pick the brawlers that are good in the meta, and I'm not at super high trophies, so I usually wreck everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my issue though. When you're playing at high trophies for volleyball, it becomes very sweaty, and then like there's only a few brawlers that actually thrive in it, right? So you don't really have many options. And I don't know, it becomes very hectic. It becomes very intense.
It does. Yeah, and I understand that that's an issue. But I think for 90% of players, volleyball's fun and good. And not amazing. I don't think it has great play rates, but people play it, and I think they enjoy it.
Same thing with like basketball. I feel like it's great. It's a lot of fun. Right, but when we're talking about in small doses, but when we're talking about competitively viable, I don't think it's like close to being competitively viable.
What do you think of duels?
Duels competitively?
Yeah.
Nope. Like
you don't think so?
Not at all, because like just walls, for example, and the RNG of like your order of brawlers, it matters so much.
Yeah, but
right?
you get to choose your brawlers.
You have to choose your brawler, but not the order of the brawlers, right? So imagine.
No, you do. The brawler in your first slot is brawler 1, and the brawler in your second.
No. I'm saying after the game starts. So like say someone else had I don't know, like Bull for their first brawler, right? And you have Shelly for yours, and you match up. You're obviously gonna have the advantage. Like, how's the Bull gonna beat the Shelly? You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is you don't know what the order is for your opponent's team.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay,
like, and
gotcha.
that matters in the competitive sense. That's why it can't be competitively viable, because in the competitive sense, they have like a Mortis first pick and they're expecting you to go thrower, but you actually will go Shelly first pick. You have a big advantage because that's a free, you know, kill for you. You know what I mean? Shelly with Mortis.
So duels
like,
draft.
Yeah,
So
draft.
That was the suggestion by chat. So if you were in a draft, and honestly, I think that'd be awesome.
But even then, like, it's a major disadvantage because you won't be able to draft certain brawlers because you know that first pick that you make will instantly get hard countered by your opponent's first pick. Next pick.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that'll solve that issue. And then the last pick, well, obviously you have another big advantage because what if all the 3 brawlers you drafted were like, you know, tanks and they go last pick Shelly and just wreck you?
Yeah. That's a good point.
But the major issue with duels is like the smokes and the walls. A lot of times you can just circle around the wall. You just wait until that smoke just, you know, condenses the map where like just deal with that brawler right in that small area. And that's when you play at like really high trophies for duels, like I'm talking about like 1,000 trophy range.
Yeah,
that's what players do. They play the slow way. They wait until the map gets smaller. Yeah, they'll just wait behind the wall forever because they know their best chances of winning is when the map is like
really
condensed.
Close.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, map maker. I hope they change it, and I think that if they made the right changes to map maker, not changes, if they add more to it, I think if they add the right things to it, then it would feel like fresh new content that's exciting.
That's I don't think we mind the cheese. Like the cheese.
I used to. When it first came out, I was like, this is hot garbage, but then over time, it really grew on me, and now I really like the cheese.
Yeah, like as long as it's not crazy, like the spike, you know, base rushing and heist, for example, where you're just getting free trophies or instant win. As long as it's not like that, like I'm talking about like these where like you know, like remember that showdown map with all the springs and you just like you're trying to avoid the springs. You get like you never know where you're gonna land. And, like that was fun. Like. Was chaotic, but at the same time it was chaotic in a good way where like you know, so many things can happen, right?
Yeah.
It made it unpredictable, and that's what made it fun.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say about map maker. You want to talk about teaming and showdown?
Sure. Although like
unless you want to say
teaming
more.
and showdown. No. Let's move on to teaming and showdown. But the thing about teaming and showdown, I feel like, me personally, I feel like it's impossible to fix teaming. The teaming
agree
issue.
with you.
I just don't think it's possible. No matter what.
I agree with you.
No matter what. I know so many people are going to disagree, but guys, we've been trying to fix this for like, what, 6 years now, Kairos? There's a reason why nothing works.
Do you remember the Stop the Spin initiative?
Yes, I do. Yes. I told you. I think I told Kairos at the time. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a great idea, but I'm like laughing at him, like it's never gonna work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I'm like, it's never gonna work because like, all it's gonna do is like you're just gonna make it easier for the people who are gonna continue to spin to win.
Yeah, I saw somebody say, you know, add a report button. That's not a fun way to do it. Like, and
it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Who's to say that? Like, I don't know.
I accidentally 360'd. I wasn't trying to team, guys. It was just my joystick going 360 degrees.
Yeah,
you know?
Or like, oh, so then what if like somebody has 10 power cubes and there's only 3 people left, and the other 2 people only have 1 power cube? those two people with one power cube, the only chance they have at winning is if they take it down the 10 per power cube person. They can't 1v1 that person. They're gonna temporarily join a truce and then kill them, and then they're gonna kill each other.
Exactly.
Like
a lot of times. Here's the other thing about. Oh no, go ahead.
No. I'm so bad at interrupting you, dude. I'm so bad at interrupting you.
No. I'm sorry. Like I have so much to say. Like Showdown. When you really think about what solo showdown really is, the whole game mode is about teaming essentially. If you think about it, in the core strategies of showdown is teaming. Let me explain this why. Cause like
the strategy is to survive as long as possible.
Survival. When you're talking about survival, think about it. If I want to survive, I want to work with someone else to trap you, right? This is the core strategy of solo showdown, is finding ways to trap enemies for my best chance of taking you down, getting you trapped, and for me to stay alive.
And what you're saying isn't necessarily I'm going to spin with you and I'm going to team with you, then we're going to trap somebody else. It's more like you're going to chase somebody into a corner until eventually they meet somebody else on the opposite side of them. And even though you're not like teaming with that other person, it's going to feel like that person's being teamed on, because the second person has a person on the left and a person on the right that they're going to get pinched between, and that person in the middle is going to die unless they pull up something crazy. Like by definition, that is teaming in Showdown. Like it's not organized teaming. It's not spinning with somebody and putting down a check mark pin or spray on the ground to team with them. That's just how it works.
That's just the game mode itself. Like
yeah.
And that's why teaming, why spin to win is so good, is because it empowers that strategy. Like it makes it like even better to do it that way.
Now here's something just to add some clarification to the people on the stream here. I am not saying that I'm a fan of teaming, and I'm not saying that I team. I made a vow 4 years ago to not team in Showdown, and I have stood by that vow. Like maybe I've made like accidental teamings, or like I did team once in like a non-competitive match. I team in friendlies and map maker because that's fun and it doesn't matter for trophies. But in regular solo Showdown, I don't team. And I don't like teaming. In fact, if I see people teaming, I will go out of my way to specifically target them, even if it means that I die. If I can kill one of them along the way to me dying, I'm okay with that because I took down a freaking teamer. That is how I play, and that's my personal philosophy on it. But I'm convinced with you, Ash. I think it's impossible for them to fix it. They've done so many things. They added meteors that would specifically target people that were close to each other. That didn't work. They added healing mushrooms that would specifically heal people that were not close to anybody. That didn't work. Same thing with the power-ups. They made big, giant bosses spawn in the middle of the map that you could kill for power cubes and fight over it. And people just teamed together and take it out. They've done everything under the sun. They've added Life Leech. People still teamed in Life Leech. They added Showdown Plus. People still teamed in Showdown Plus. They added Top Dog, Hot Dog, Top Dog, Showdown. People are still teaming in Hot Dog, Top Dog, Knockout Showdown or whatever.
Nothing will work.
Nothing's working. Nothing has worked. And at this point, I've seen a million suggestions that at the end of the day, I just don't think will work. Maybe not a million. I've seen a lot of suggestions that I don't think will work.
A lot. We've seen it all.
And I don't think that banning people for teaming is the right way because that's not fun.
And you're gonna have a hard time.
There's not a rule book that it goes in there. Oh, and you can't specifically team against somebody because teaming is a viable option, and the whole goal of Showdown is to survive as long as possible. That's the only way to like. Teaming's here to stay. I'm convinced of it.
Only way you're gonna fix teaming is by completely changing how solo Showdown works. Like, game mode itself. Like you gotta completely change.
Yep, but even then, modifiers like it's. Yeah. Now, teaming in duo Showdown, that's toxicity, and we should ban those people.
Whoa, teaming in duo Showdown. I haven't played Showdown in like 2 years, I think.
Oh, for real? I love playing Showdown.
Yeah. No, I haven't played it. Like, I just don't ever play it.
Well, you're high enough trophies that you're gonna be in teaming, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
people said Lone Star is the only solo mode without teamers. Yeah, Lone Star was, and people didn't play Lone Star because it wasn't as fun because teaming wasn't in it.
There wasn't teaming. What? Oh my goodness.
That's really funny. Okay, do you have any more to talk about for teaming?
Nope.
Okay, let's talk about PvE events. If you still have time here. Okay, are you ready for this?
Of course.
We got a question. Start a poll. We're going to ask, do you play the weekend PvE events? So that's Robo Rumble and Boss Fight.
Man, if you look at my profile, I don't know if they still have it there. Like, I don't have Robo Rumble on it. Like, I don't have any stats for it. So that answers that question.
Well, you don't have it anymore. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they've removed that because it doesn't matter.
No.
Anymore, right?
Like, even when they had it, like, I didn't have anything there. Like,
oh, for real?
because I never play it.
You never played it.
I think I did a long time ago, but then they introduced stats for it. And then I never played it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So, like, yeah, so for the longest time in my profile, there was, like, nothing there. No stat for it.
Question for you. Do you like playing PvE games?
Me personally, no. Like, I never waste my time playing it, but I know a lot of people love it.
So outside of Brawl Stars, you don't like playing PvE games? Generally. Okay, that's totally fine. That's respectable. If you like PvP games and that's your jam, that's perfect. In fact, it'll be really interesting to have you...
Yeah, it's just me. It's just me. Like, I don't play it, but I know a lot of people love it. A lot of my friends love it.
We're not saying anything, you know, it's your personal preference, and that's great and fantastic. In fact, that'll add to this discussion here. I do love playing PvE games. I play a lot of PvE games, and so I asked the poll, do you play PvP or PvE events? 69% of players say that they do. And I would guess, so let's end the poll. Do you play PvE games after you've completed your quests? Do you play PvE after quests are finished? That's another question to ask. My guess is almost nobody does, but we'll see.
That's a good question. They just play for the quests.
Yeah, because I will play for the quest because you play one match and that's 100 tokens.
Actually, I have played the PvE on my free-to-play account because I needed those tokens.
Okay, yeah.
But other than that, no, I would never play it other than for the quest.
Yeah. Yeah, so so that's the question. Do you play it afterwards? And 85% of the people are saying they do not play the PvE after the quests are finished.
See, this is the sort of data that I'm always scared of, because like it shows like, you know, you're kind of being, where I don't want to use the term forced, right? Like, but it feels like you're kind of, you know, being forced to do something, or like, do you really enjoy the PvE, or are you just playing it just for the quests, right?
So I actually enjoy the PvE a decent amount, but I make it fun for myself. My goal in Robo Rumble and Boss Fight is to spin as much as possible and spam pins and sprays as much as possible. So when I'm playing with people, I'm literally just like spinning like a maniac the entire time, spamming pins and sprays. And I like to see how much I can get the randoms to do it with me. And some people completely ignore me, and then other people spam with me. And then it sometimes goes to the point where they are trying to spin so much they're not even attacking the robots. And like, so like, it's just kind of a fun, stupid little thing. But I make it fun for myself just because I'm like social. I'm being social with people. But to me, it's a complete waste of time to play them because they're not fun anymore. It's just, I'm just doing it for the quest to get the tokens. And that is, that's the one. The only one that I think is fun is the big game or big hunt, or where you have one person against 5. I think that one's decently fun.
I like that, but like if I'm not the big boss, I'm like, okay, I just don't want to play.
Yeah, for real, I enjoy taking down the big boss, unless it's like a Jesse or something like that. Okay, so I have. Do you remember a while ago when Brawl Talk, they did the future of Brawl Stars, and they just talked about what's going to happen in the future.
Yes.
I have a direct quote from that right here with what Frank said, and because he said, you know, hey, we're going to talk about all these things. This is like the one thing that they have not added into the game yet. They talked about PvE. They said, hey, we're going to. Here's what he said: that they're wanting to add or rework the PvE. And they want to add new, more dynamic PvE system that introduces new features, including multiple stages, persistent power-ups, different environments, new types of enemies and bosses, almost like a place where we'll be able to tell a story in the future.
I remember this. I remember him mentioning this.
Yeah, so he said that. Thank you for... Okay. So that's what he said. Now later they had the podcast where they said, people were basically like, hey, what happened to the PvE events? You've done pretty much everything that you talked about in that video except for PvE events. Where are the PvE events? And their answer was, we did something, we were going to release it, and we didn't like it. It wasn't good enough, and we would rather focus on other stuff for now until later where we can really focus on something that is actually good and enjoyable and fun long term. Because I'm not sure if you remember this, but when Robo Rumble first came out and Boss Fight first came out, everybody loved it. Maybe not you. Maybe not you specifically.
Oh, no, actually, I did.
But it was hype. It was fun. It was exciting. It was fresh and new, and it was like, whoa, this is a fun new way to play the game. But then over time, it became very stale and not replayable. And their goal, I think, is to create PvE game modes or events that are replayable for a long time that will be fun and exciting. So it was fun back then, and it was exciting. But when they tried something that didn't quite fix it. So do you have suggestions? I personally have an idea of what I want them to do. But do you have thoughts?
It has to be something that changes over time weekly, like
No, this is hard.
Do some Brawl Stars AI here to like create some
ChatGPT is gonna code things into the game, and every single week it's gonna be something crazy.
Exactly, that would be. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So, Frank's quote: more dynamic PvE system that includes multiple stages, persistent power-ups, different environments, new types of enemies and bosses. Specifically, the persistent power-ups. That made me think of something that I love. Have you ever played a roguelike game?
Like what?
So a roguelike is a type of game where how it works is you pretty much a roguelike is where you start off and you're gonna go into a dungeon and you go far into a dungeon and then you just get slaughtered because everything's way strong and you're not very good at the game and it's really hard. And so then after you do that, you're like, okay, maybe next time I should do this. And as you go through this dungeon, you get power-ups that like make your characters stronger. And then when you die, you lose all that progression. Or maybe you hang on to like 10% of your progression so you can make some power-ups over a long time. And then you go in and you keep on going into this dungeon over and over and over again until eventually you reach the very end of it. And then you beat the game. But now that you've beat the game, like you have this big sense of progression and like excitement. Now there's ways for you to beat the game faster and better and like make the dungeon harder. And the second time you go into the dungeon, it's harder or whatever. It's like my idea is to make it kind of like a roguelike. So like popular roguelikes. Let me search up some of these.
Are we talking about like Legends of Zelda kind of like dungeon?
No. Enter the Gungeon, Hades, Slay the Spire, The Binding of Isaac, Faster Than Light. Those are some popular roguelikes.
I see. I have not played any of them.
That's okay. You don't like PvE game modes.
It's true.
But like, those are roguelikes. And so like, that's my whole idea for like a Brawl Stars PvE event. And the idea behind it is that they first started out, and your goal is to reach the boss. But the boss, in order for you to do that, you have to play all these different robots and stuff like that are trying to kill you or whatever, and you have different enemies. And then once you know, the very first stage, you go and you defeat the stage, and then it gives you a power-up. And let's say you're playing Jessie, and the power-up for Jessie could be like, when you use your super, you can throw down 2 turrets instead of 1. Okay? And then that's a permanent upgrade during that weekend when you're doing it. And so then after you beat the first round, then you go into the second round. And then maybe the next time is like a 10% DPS buff to her attack damage or whatever. But the bosses and the enemies get really strong, or get a lot stronger, right? And so it's really hard for you to do it. But after some grinding, you finally figure out how to beat the second level. And then after the second level, you get a permanent upgrade to Jessie again, where maybe Jessie's third upgrade is her Sparky now shoots. Now enemies that get within a certain range of Sparky get slowed. Okay?
Okay.
And so then you try and defeat the next round, and there's a really hard boss, and it's like a mini boss. And then after you beat it finally, then you get other like upgrades or stuff like that. Oh, sorry. I'm actually kind of doing a pretty poor job of explaining this. After each round, it's not just you get to choose between throwing 2 supers, or it's not just you get more supers. You have 3 choices. So maybe one of the choices is you get to throw 2 supers. Maybe your next choice is your turret has 50% more damage. Maybe the third choice is that you get to slow enemies that are within 10 tiles of Sparky. And so you have to choose between these 3 weird upgrades, and you're like, I don't know how these will work. So you choose one. Then the next round, maybe you have 3 completely different choices or whatever, right? And so the idea is you have this progression as you go through. And if you don't like your build, you can restart. And you're like, I don't like this build. I'm going to restart with a different brawler. I'm going to go with 8-bit. And so the idea is by the end of the final boss, the final boss is ridiculously hard. You're going to have a lot of really good skill to take him out. And you're going to have specific upgrades that are going to you're going to have to choose along the way in order for you to be able to do it. And then the next week, it's a completely different boss.
Ooh. That would be really cool if it's different every week. That's what I'm saying.
So the first boss, maybe for whatever reason, it spawns like massive swarms of enemies. And the only way you're going to be able to defeat the swarms is if you choose specific upgrades and play specific brawlers that do well against giant swarms. And then the next week, maybe it's not a swarm boss, but maybe it just is ridiculously strong itself. And in order for you to kill it, you're going to have to spawn a bunch of different enemies so you can deal with it. Maybe it does splash damage, and so it gets rid of your swarms. But then maybe the week afterwards, it doesn't do splash damage, it does single target damage. So
pretty cool.
So they need something dynamic. The problem is with this idea is that it takes a lot of developer time for them to do it. But like, I just feel like it would be so fun to have a roguelike where every single time you play it, it's different.
The end game boss is just different every time. Yeah,
so the idea with roguelikes is that you become ridiculously strong, but the boss is also ridiculously strong. And so it's just like you feel like you're so powerful, but at the same time the boss is so powerful that it's like it's kind of balanced, you know?
Yeah. You know what they can do? Like, it doesn't even have to be every week, like every season, kind of like, oh, this is what's the current season called right now?
The Rescue.
Rescue. So like or
Rumble
villain,
Jungle.
Right?
Rumble Jungle, I think.
Yeah, introduce a villain where this is the PvE boss that you have to like beat after every season, where it just changes, right? Like that's the villain of the season. I'm talking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
somebody's telling me that what I suggested is more like a roguelite. Maybe I don't know the difference between a roguelike and a roguelite. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I've just searched that up.
Don't worry, I don't know either.
What's the difference? The rogue genre is infamous for its difficulty in that deaths tend to be permanent and you lose all progression. That is a concept that roguelike games take to heart, which makes it more difficult than roguelites. So I think roguelites are that if you lose, then you still regain some of your progression or something like that. I don't know the exact difference. That's a very interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit afterwards. Roguelike, roguelite. Brawl Stars could do something like that, right? Rogue type. Roguelites are permanent progression. Interesting. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways that they could do it, but it's clear that they need to redo something for the progression or for PvE, or maybe even Brawl Stars isn't a PvE game. Maybe Supercell takes an entirely different developer team and they make a PvE Brawl Stars themed game, which is kind of what their idea with Clash Heroes was, right?
Clash Heroes, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Would you play Clash Heroes since you don't like PvE games?
To be honest, no. Like, that's probably why, like, at first I liked it. At first, when I was trying out Clash Heroes, I enjoyed it. But it gets, for me, PvE games are just not replayable.
Or when we were first looking at Clash Heroes, yeah.
It's the replayability for me is like lack of competitiveness to it. Like, I'm not actually facing, an actual person. Like, I have to outplay and outsmart. And then the replayability of it, where it's like, oh, it's just, same thing over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they do, but I hope that they haven't given up on the idea of adding PvE game modes. Frank said multiple stages, persistent power-ups, different environments, new types of enemies and bosses. They tried something, it wasn't good enough. The hope is that they can try again and make something that is good enough and has a lot of replayability.
As long as you get to play with other, say 2 random teammates.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My hope is that you would have 2 teammates and all 3 of you get to make progression. But they also need to make it so that it works with randoms as well. And and that you don't have to play the whole thing all in one game session. So my thought process is that you would play a match, you get to choose the upgrade for that brawler, and then if you play a second match, then you can play with completely different randoms that also are at that same stage as you, that have one upgrade, right? And then, I don't know, you make progression throughout the weekend, and then hopefully you beat the boss at the very end. There's a lot of work and effort for them to put into it, especially for a PvP game. Maybe the answer is that they just make this the best PvP game that it can be, and they let Supercell game developers make a different PvE game mode or game.
True.
Do you have other thoughts or?
I agree with you on your last sentiment there. Is PvE is that the direction Supercell wants to go with Brawl Stars? I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm moving on to the next topic then. Do you want to talk about the state of progression and brawl boxes being removed, or do you want to talk about the state of the brawler balance?
Both are good topics. Up to you. Although I was gonna let you pick. All right, let's go with brawler balance first then.
Okay. Brawler balance. So we're gonna ask a poll question here and ask, is the meta balanced? And I think ish, right? Obviously no meta is perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
But is it balanced enough? Question mark. Okay. How does that? Is that a good question?
Or are you happy with the current meta is another.
Okay, that's a good question. Are you happy with the meta balance? That's what I'm asking. Are you happy with the meta balance? It's an interesting question. We're just doing straight up yes or no, no in between.
Man, I have so many opinions on this.
Okay, so we have sorry. So overall, it looks like about 60% of people are saying that they are happy with the meta balance.
Yeah, it's usually
I would say 50, that's pretty 50. Good. I would say that's good.
Thing is, it's usually always around that mark where half the people are okay with the meta and the other half aren't. And it's always like this, no matter what. No matter how balanced you make the meta, it's always going to be around that mark, a 60-40 or a 50-50.
Yeah.
And there are reasons for that. It's because Like if you have a very balanced meta, which we had before, prior, like in the past, we've had occasions where like the meta is just so balanced. The problem with that is it's very boring. Like nothing like
Yeah.
there's nothing that really shines in the meta. Everything is just so balanced. Um, well, it just becomes very boring and stale. Whereas like if you introduce certain like brawlers that are like, and that's what you have. I think at the current state of the game is like, in my opinion, the current state of the game is actually the best we've had ever in Brawl Stars history.
I actually agree with that. I think it is incredibly balanced. It has been balanced for a long time, I would say. Like,
and the reason,
like the past 8 months, right?
Yeah. It has, other than like say like Buster. Buster was super ridiculous, but other than that, it's been pretty balanced.
Okay, so I'm trying to find a statistic here. Sorry, just a sec. You can keep talking while I try to find the statistic.
Oh man, I have like so many things I can talk about with Brawler balance, and we had Adrian for our Twitter space not too long ago, like a few weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and he enlightened us with a lot of things.
Yeah. So I found my statistic here. Now I'm just gonna add a lot of clarifiers here. This has to do with my tier lists, which are not the end all be all. How my tier lists are made is I grab, what I do is I ask the pro players that are actually competing at the most recent competitive event, whatever it was. So this time I asked all the people that competed at Brawl Masters in Japan. Okay. And I have them all, I send them a draft and I say, here is my rough draft. What would you move? And what are your top 3 brawlers? And they all send responses, and I don't actually compilate my tier lists at all. I have somebody else who's actually better at the game than I am, and I send it over to him, and I send him all the feedback from the pros, and I say, put this all together, and he puts it all together. He takes all the feedback from the pro players, and he puts it all together. So the tier lists are not made by myself at all. Not even a bit. He makes the initial draft, and he takes all the feedback and puts it all together. So it's not been made by myself. Okay, and it's specifically for Power League at the highest level by the most competitive players. So it's like
or tournaments
yes, tournaments, which is draft format at tournaments. So that's like the highest percent. Okay, so that's how the tier lists are made, and 65% of the brawlers who were A tier or S tier 9 months ago are still A tier or S tier.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, things actually changed a little bit for my tier list, which I'm going to be releasing tomorrow. So things changed actually a little bit more. But 65% of brawlers that were good 9 months ago are still really good. So things have not changed very much in a long time. So my question is, yeah, I think that a lot of people will say that they are happy with the current meta balance. But is it stale? How do you feel?
I'd say yes. So let's talk about like the most recent balance changes, right? Where Penny got nerfed, Janet got nerfed, B got nerfed, right?
If we don't look at Shelly and we don't look at Meg,
yeah, like Shelly and Meg were before that balance change.
Oh, you're looking just now. Okay.
Just now, just the recent ones.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed the meta at all, in my opinion. Like from what I've seen,
Shelly's still at the top, Meg's still at the top.
Exactly. Penny's still at the top. Jen's still at the top. B's still really good. Like all these brawlers are still like at the top. You know what I mean? So you can look at this multiple ways. Like, these brawlers have been S tier for like a year now, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And is that a good or bad thing, right? Like, in my opinion, yeah, it does feel stale, and I do think they should be nerfed because of that, just to mix things up, right? Like a brawler, just because it's not oppressive, right? I feel like the way Supercell is looking at it is that brawler oppressive, right? Is it like really like ruining the meta? No, when we look at a brawler like Penny, yeah, Penny's such a great pick. Like it's one of the best first picks. It's such a versatile brawler, one of the best in the game, but it's obviously not broken, right? Yeah. She's not broken in it by any means. She's just ridiculously versatile, strong, good overall brawler, right?
Yeah.
And does that warrant a nerf for her is the question, right? Like she's one of the best, but she's not broken, right?
It's also
And
really hard too because she's one of the best in the pro scene. But if you were to change her, she might just be completely worthless everywhere else.
yeah, exactly,
Which Penny's not a great example of that because Penny's actually really good in low trophies. Like maybe even better than pro scene. But like, I mean, let's take an example like Bull. If you want to make Bull one of the best brawlers in the game or competitive, then he's going to just annihilate in lower trophies where he's so easy and hard to counter for players who don't know how to counter him.
Exactly.
Like it's really
and it goes both ways too. Like for example, look at Gus. Gus is so strong in the competitive scene.
Yeah.
And every pro player knows how like crazy strong Gus is.
But,
if you ask
a
casual, yeah, you tell a casual player, yo, Gus is really strong. The casual player is like, Gus is garbage, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This like they don't get it as much as like the pros do in terms of the capabilities.
Well, and the pros
Gus.
are better with Gus too. Like they know when to heal a teammate. They know when to send the shield. They can hit their shield. They communicate with their teammate. I'm gonna send a shield to you. Don't juke.
And long range brawlers also, you know, typically require more skill, right?
Yeah.
With the aiming and everything, like, skill difference as well. Like, you have varying opinions because of that.
Yeah.
Or
So
like,
I think the real answer here is that it is impossible to balance the game for everybody.
yes.
It just is. It is straight up impossible. And honestly, I think the Brawl Stars developer team has done a fantastic job at this.
Yeah, and
they really have. For the past year, the balance has like nothing has been like really crazy except for Meg.
And I feel like a lot of people like maybe, you know, a lot of pro players are very critical. They're like, oh, I hate the meta, or I'm not hate the meta, but like I'm not content with the meta. You know, I want more balance or this or that. But at the same time, bro, are you looking at the past of Brawl Stars? Like, do you remember?
Dude, you remember Leon getting released?
Do you remember Rosa? Do you remember Sprout? Do you remember Gale when he was like crazy strong? Do you remember all these super oppressive, crazy stuff?
Yeah.
Like, look back at this and look back at the meta right now. We are at a much, much, much better place right now than we are in the past, where we had so many oppressive, you know, crazy, super broken brawlers. All over the place.
Yeah, new
like,
brawlers have been like fairly balanced for a long time. There's been some hit or misses, you know, some misses where some brawlers have been just way too strong. Sam, for an example, there have been some brawlers that are just not very good at all, like Maisie.
Actually, Sam was underappreciated. If you don't remember, like when he first came out with the heal, like so many pro players underappreciated him, and so Sam got a buff. He got a buff.
Is that what happened? Okay, yeah.
Yes,
and then he was way too strong. Yeah. But like overall, it's not like any brawler has been completely F tier, completely bonkers S tier. Well, they've been some S tier brawlers, but nobody's been like, you get where I'm saying. Things have been pretty balanced. They've done a really good job with new brawlers, and I'm actually really impressed with how balanced things have been. Adrian, who's been developing or has been in charge of the balance changes, he's done a fantastic job. And especially when you look at his balancing style and what he considers a win when it comes to balance. He's honestly doing amazing. As a content creator, I want more balance changes more frequently. I want big swings. I want
big changes in the meta. Yes.
I want 20 changes or changes to 20 brawlers. Like that's what I want as a content creator. I'm not saying that that's the best for the game, but as somebody, I just love that. I think it's so fun and exciting because I play every single day, and I love to see brawlers go all over the place. I love a tier list that is completely different from the last tier list. Not like, oh, this brawler moved a little bit and it changed things a little bit.
Exactly.
I don't like that as a content creator. I want the big swings. I think it's fun and exciting.
Give us that. I completely, wholeheartedly agree with that.
I don't think that that's right for the game. I don't think that's healthy. But maybe every 6 months.
Yeah, like switch it up, change it up. You know, like maybe even like 3 months. Come on, like I want big meta changes. You know what I mean? Like it's so good for us as content creators, right? We can create new content. Oh, Colt is meta all of a sudden. He's super strong. Make content on that, right? Like, there's so many. It's so beneficial, and not just that. I feel like it's also good for the players as well. Like, you're changing up the meta, have constant changes. Like, I remember a long time ago before Adrian, we had Lone, right? And he would have some aggressive changes if you recall with certain brawlers. Like, for example, all of a sudden he made snappy sniping on Piper really strong, and that one time in the meta we had Piper really strong, for example.
And people complained about it.
People complain. That's complain about everything.
People were like, "Lone, come on, why did you do this?" And I think, like, I specifically probably complained about it. You might have specifically complained about it, but it was fun.
It was fun, and the thing is, like, it's short term, right? It's a short term change. Like, you spice things up. So currently we have all these brawlers at the F tier, right? Like, I don't know, like Mortis, Edgar,
Frank,
Jesse, Frank, Tara is even really bad right now in the meta. Like, spice it up, right? Like, make them strong for a bit, then it's okay to, like, if you go overboard a little, it's okay. Next balance change, like, nerf them a bit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's good to reintroduce certain brawlers back into the meta, because there are certain brawlers that have been at the bottom for just so long.
Yeah.
Like, just Jesse, for example, is another brawler.
Yeah.
And also all those brawlers, like we mentioned, that are still at the top. They've been at the top for too long. Like,
I feel like. So here's one of the big things that I think that both you and I and most people in the chat have not addressed or haven't thought of, and that's the new player experience. So
oh yes, I was gonna actually talk about Shelly with the new player experience.
Yeah. So the new player experience, let's say somebody downloads Brawl Stars right now, okay? What they can basically do is they choose which brawlers they get to unlock. And they have full autonomy in which brawlers they upgrade as well. You can choose. That didn't used to be the case with Brawl Boxes, right? So now you can choose which brawler you unlock, and you can choose which brawler you upgrade. If you get a nerf to the one brawler that you specifically grinded out, like you chose, let's say a player was like, oh, everybody says that Crow is the best competitive option right now. I'm going to get Crow, and then I'm going to max him out, and he's my best legendary, and I worked really hard to unlock Crow. If he gets a nerf then, that's very disheartening for a new player. Like, really hard. Because, hey, my favorite brawler was super strong. He got a nerf. I don't know what's the best now. I'm just going to stop playing the game. And so to play devil's advocate, what Adrian is doing right now is very good for the new player experience and very good for most players. And I really applaud him for it. And that's why I say, as a content creator and as somebody who has played for a really long time, I want big swings and I want big changes and I want the competitive meta to be all over the place. I really want it. Honestly, I'm like 50-50. I don't know what the right decision is. I don't know if what Adrian is doing right now is the best for the game long term, or if making big changes would be best long term. I don't know the answer to it. I think probably somewhere in the middle would be. I would like a little bit more change, but based off of what Adrian's metrics are and what he looks at, he's doing pretty much a perfect job.
That's true. That's true. He is doing a great job. Meta has been at the best place it's ever been, and thanks to Adrian.
Yeah, it's true.
Keeping it that way, keeping it balanced. Compared to, like, in the past, we've had like so much crazy stuff in the meta. It's been like constantly too. Like every new season, you're like, oh, Surge came out in the meta. You know what he's gonna do? Like, takes over the game for like entire summer. Anyways,
yeah. The issue is now it's been so good for so long and it's been so balanced for so long that now it's getting a little boring.
It's getting stale, I see.
But interestingly enough, I think that the balance changes that he is really focused on have actually been really good. Like, even if you just look at the Shelly change, Shelly got one change, and she went from the worst brawler into the game to the best, or arguably the best. Some people might not pick her as first, but at the very competitive meta, she was top 3 in over half of the pro players, which is an astounding stat. That doesn't always happen. But for Shelly to be top 3 for a majority of the pro players, that's nuts. And so she went from that, and then that one change to Shelly had a massive impact on a lot of the meta. Tanks got decreased. People aren't playing tanks as much now. Throwers kind of which had a roundabout rise in throwers because there weren't so many tanks to try and counter the throwers or assassins, right?
Yes.
And so like just that one change actually had a pretty big change on the meta, which is interesting. But Shelly didn't change Janet. She didn't change Penny. She didn't change Crow. She didn't change a lot of these other brawlers that were already S tier. And so she had a change, big impact, just not everywhere.
You see, look, I have mixed opinions on the Shelly change. Do you actually like? My question is, do you think it was the right way to go about it? Like speed her up, as she's the first brawler you unlock, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the concerns a lot of us had was, is this gonna ruin the early player experience when you give such a powerful brawler to as the first brawler? Like, is it gonna feel rewarding to get, you know, new brawlers, unlock these new brawlers, and then as a new player, I'm saying, right, you just started playing, like, hey, Shelly's so good, she's so fast, she does so much damage, like, can take everybody on. She's so easy to use, so easy to auto aim, and then you put me on the brawler like, I don't know, Colt, Brock, and you realize, you know, they're not as good, right? Is that a bad thing?
It's a good question. I think what matters a lot less than how strong a brawler is how much people are playing a brawler for the very beginning. Like for new players specifically, how fun is a brawler? I actually think is a lot more important than how strong is a brawler. Now, winning matches because your brawler is strong is more fun, but there are definitely situations with Edgar and Mortis where people will play them just because they are fun and not because they're strong. Shelly is a boring brawler to play. She has her mechanics are so simple. You auto aim pretty much most of the time. For some
people, she's really fun though.
She's fun now that you can move around fast, and that's fun and that's exciting. But in terms of her mechanics and stuff like that, new players, there's so many new brawlers. Like, you start out with Shelly and you're like, oh, cool. They don't know how strong Shelly is. But then they unlock Nita and you're like, well, I get to spawn a bear? And you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you unlock El Primo. He literally jumps across and can punch people with his fist. That's cool. You unlock Shelly or Jessie. A turret spawns. That's so much more interesting than Shelly is. Whether or not Jessie is better or worse than Shelly, you can't deny the fact that Jessie is more interesting, right? And like, that's the thing. And so I don't know. I don't know if Shelly is too strong for new players. That was my initial concern, but I think it's less important because new players, they don't become competitive or care how strong a brawler is until they've been playing the game for a long time.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
those are very good points.
I don't know. We talked a lot about balance, and I don't know that we really came to a consensus other than the fact that I think we agreed that it's the most balanced that it's been in a long time. We both wish for some more changes just to make things a little bit more exciting.
Here's the crazy thing of having such a balanced meta. I mean, and the other thing is, like, when you look at it, right, in the grand scheme, we have so many gadgets, so many star powers, so many gears, all these like best builds and stuff that you can, interchangeable builds, right? Like, there's so much, it's overwhelming. And for some people, they see that overwhelmingness as unbalanced. Right? In my opinion, no, it doesn't make it unbalanced. You have so many powerful brawlers, so many brawlers in certain, you know, game modes, your maps that are so strong. It doesn't mean that brawler is like, you know, unbalanced. It just means that that brawler just thrives in that game mode or map more than others, right?
Yeah.
I don't see that as unbalanced. But for like some people, they have that misconception, I feel like, where they see like there's so many strong brawlers right now. They see that as a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Adrian really does a great job though.
Yeah.
As a content creator, I want more changes more frequently, but I think he's doing a really good job. That's all I gotta say about that.
Another thing I was gonna mention is introduce more without like harming the early game players, right? Making it harder for them. introduce more mythic gears, because you need what? You need level 9 brawlers to unlock a gear, or level 10. Level 10.
Level 10.
Yeah, level 10.
You're
so
like, I've been maxed for so long, I don't even remember.
Right. So yeah, you need level 10 brawlers. So obviously, these new players are not gonna have access to these mythic gears, right? So I feel like that's a great way to make things more competitive or change things up in the competitive scene without it, affecting the casual players, right?
I
that
agree.
don't have these high level brawlers. So like if you want to make, for example, you want to introduce Frank into the competitive meta, right? You don't have to make, like, Frank is so strong in the low tiers, you know this, right? In the low trophies, like you get supers, chain supers, triple kills like crazy, because I don't know, like some players in the lower trophies are not as good at keeping their distance, but at high tier, right, pro players, they'll tell you Frank is just one of the worst brawlers in the game, right?
Yep.
So
He
introduce
is the worst on my next tier list coming out tomorrow.
Oh, snap. So like, yeah, so introduce like a mythic gear, right? That, I don't know, imagine, I'll just give you a random example. A mythic gear that allows him to break unbreakable walls, right? Say that, right? Where like his super can break the unbreakable walls. Like, boom, you make a meta now all of a sudden in competitive.
He's the one
Something like
brawler that can break unbreakable walls. Like,
Yeah.
like you never play Frank unless they have a thrower, and then you're like, I'm picking Frank to
Boom.
counter
Yeah.
the walls.
Exactly.
Even though Frank does best on maps with lots of walls. But that's what you do. You pick two sniper teammates, and then somebody plays Frank, and they just destroy the walls, and then the Frank just tries to dodge everybody the whole time and hopefully land something.
Exactly. And some people are gonna go out of their way and be like, "Oh, the song's broken, bro. Frank broken? Come on! Like he'll break the walls. He'll harm himself. He's a tank. Like, come on, think about it."
It's kind of funny.
Same thing when I was talking about the idea of making Jackie's rebuild gadget, rebuild normal walls into unbreakable walls. A lot of people have the concept of, "Oh, this is gonna make things so OP." Like, bro, look at it this way: is Jackie even OP right now? Like, no, it's not gonna make her like in order for her to rebuild these walls into unbreakable walls. Guess what you need? You need Jackie in your team to do that, right? If you want Jackie on your team, right? You got to consider that.
Yeah,
it's not as
that's
easy as
super
you
funny.
think. Yeah.
We're watching Bobby and Fade right now. No, that's a really good point. I like that. Sorry, I had to like eat something. I could tell my blood sugar was going low. I was starting to like get all fuzzy in my head. I don't have diabetes or anything like that, but you know that feeling when your blood sugar's low and you're like, "Oh, I gotta eat something."
No, I know what you mean.
Okay, I have one last discussion topic. If you need to go, that's completely fine. I told you 3 hours. We've been going for 3 hours and 15 minutes almost now.
Oh, I think I can go for a bit more.
Okay, just game economy and progression. That's just the last thing I want to talk about here. Yeah, dude, this is like, I remember you being like, yeah, it'll probably take like an hour and a half for us to talk about everything. You and I are talkers, man.
This is very interesting stuff, so it's keeping me going.
We're literally covering every aspect of Brawl Stars here. I love it. Okay. First question. Do you miss boxes? I'm going to ask the poll here.
I mean, me personally, it doesn't affect me because, like, 4 boxes were removed. I wasn't really getting anything from boxes. I was just getting coins.
Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't feel like I'm missing anything. If I were the perspective of a new player, right, would I like boxes? It's hard to answer that. Like, I remember one of the things I loved about Brawl Stars when I first started playing it was having that chance of like unlocking a legendary, like getting Crow or Spike. I always have that, a chance, right? That small chance of getting one of these brawlers, and that excited me. I was like, that was very fun. Like, that was why I played the game, to get those boxes, to unlock them, to get a chance to get these crazy brawlers. So I guess I do miss that, but ever since I was max for like the last 3 years, right? Anytime they introduce a new brawler, you just get it, right? You just get it. You just get it from the brawl pass, or you just unlock it from the boxes you saved up. So it doesn't feel like rewarding, right? It didn't really feel like I was, getting it through chance because I already knew I was getting it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, for you personally, it doesn't make that much of a difference because you're maxed out and you're gonna have everything either way.
Exactly. So
that's fair.
For me personally, yeah.
So if you go onto Brawl Stars' Twitter and they make a post,
okay,
you're gonna see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the post is about. You're gonna see comments flooded of just bring back boxes. If you
really?
Yeah, if you go onto the Google Star or the Google Play Store or the iOS Play Store or whatever, and you look at the reviews, all of the 1-star reviews are bring back boxes.
Wow.
This is like, I don't know if it's the #1 complaint, but it's like, maybe we don't see it very much because like we're on a different side of things. And honestly, I really like that they got rid of like the whole gambling aspect of it, the whole gotcha aspect. I really like that they did that. I don't want them to bring boxes back. But the thing is about boxes is that they were fun. They're exciting. There's a reason why gambling is addicting. It's because it's fun and exciting. Like, there's a reason people know they're going to lose money when they go gamble in Vegas, and they do it anyway. Because, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you people should go and do that, but there's an aspect of excitement and thrill, right?
I mean, I would have liked it better if it was impossible to like spend money to increase your odds. Like you're not able to buy boxes, for example. Then I would like more. Like where it's just completely equal for everyone, the same probability. There's no there's no pay to win aspect to it, where like you can't buy your way to getting better odds, or you buy boxes. You just have to earn it, and it's the same probability. That to me,
because then it's not so much gambling; it's just more like some players will be slightly more lucky.
Exactly, like completely luck based in that. Like that type, I would like. But that's
okay,
never gonna happen.
So chat. For those of you guys that said, okay, so 52% of people said they do not miss boxes. For those of you guys that are glad that boxes are gone, would you enjoy it if boxes were in the game, but just like it's just equal for everybody? You have an equal amount. I don't know how that would work, and I don't know how they would monetize that, but would you enjoy it then?
Was equal for everyone, and you can't spend money. Like
you can't spend money, it's just equal for everybody. But some people would get lucky legendaries early, and some would not. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. I'm seeing a lot of nos.
I feel like the odds would also have to be in a way where like seasoned players, like players who've played the game for a lot longer. No, because think about it this way. If you're a new player, right? Or you've played the game for like, say, 6 months and you have like 20 brawlers, right? You have 40 brawlers left to unlock, right? And if all of those brawlers are the same probability to unlock, your probability of unlocking a brawler is very high, a new brawler, because there are 40 brawlers left to unlock. Whereas if you're a a veteran player who's already unlocked every brawler, you have so many brawlers and you only just need that one brawler. Every box you unlock should give you a high probability of unlocking that brawler because you've already unlocked every other. Right? That's how
you look at it.
That's how I look at it.
I don't know. It's an interesting idea I hadn't really considered. But I think yes, I mean, I guess what it really comes down to is I'm glad they made the change. As a content creator, I really profited off of boxes because my unboxing videos were some of my most popular ones. And unboxing videos were huge. They were absolutely massive, and now I can't do those. And so that's disappointing. But I really like the new progression system so much more from a player perspective, and also from like, maybe I don't profit off of it so much as a content creator anymore, but I really love the fact that I can recommend this game to a younger audience because there's not like gambling gotcha mechanics in it. Like I can just recommend it to pretty much anybody now. Like I used to like be like, 12, 13 would be about my age. Now I'm like, you know what? If you're 7, now you can play Brawl Stars. There's no gambling in it. Like it's good. You can choose your progression. It teaches people. It'll teach younger people that it's worth taking the time to work towards something so you can unlock a legendary brawler. Like those are good life lessons that a video game can actually teach you. I learned a lot of those playing video games when I was younger, right? So I like that. I think that's fun and exciting. I think the new progression system is better than boxes. So then the question is, how do you feel about general progression and the state of the progression in the game? Now, you've been maxed out for a long time, but you are playing on a free-to-play account as well, and so am I. How do you feel about progression right now? Do you feel like it's too fast? Do you feel like it's too slow? Do you feel like it's perfect? I'm going to actually ask that in a poll.
Progression right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already maxed out, so like any new
on your free-to-play account.
Oh, on my free-to-play. I think it's good the way it is right now with the new progression system. I think I just unlocked like Jean on my free-to-play account, and then I got to choose between a few brawlers, legendary brawlers, and I chose like Leon to get next. So I'm excited about that. I have Leon coming up.
Cool.
I think it's great, like that option to pick the brawler, and then you can also try out
cool.
the brawler before you can choose it. So if you're new and you don't know that brawler or what it does, you have that choice.
Yeah. I really
which brawler
like that
you
too.
want. Yeah.
So my poll was, how is progression right now? Too fast, just right, or too slow? 70% said just right, 22% said too slow, and 8% said too fast. That's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
And they've just been adding so much progression into the game. It honestly feels so good right now, which is so relieving given the fact that when Power 11 came out and Gears came out, it felt awful. It was too much. So, my very final question that I have, and if you have questions, then we can go through them as well. My very final question is, how would you feel about a Power 12? Okay. Now, before I say this, let me just preface this with two things. Okay. Clash of Clans, when they release a new town hall, which is basically what increasing power level would be in Brawl Stars, but when Clash of Clans releases a new town hall, it's the most fun and exciting time of the game for all those players that are already maxed out, because they get new troops, they get new towers, they get new abilities, they get all this new content that they unlock because there's a new level added into the game. When Power 11 and 10, 11 came out and Gears came out,
it didn't really.
It didn't match. Like Gears were like, so like, okay, Gears were like here as far as the excitement level goes, but Power 11 was like here as far as how much additional progression there is. So like the level of like how much you get for Power 11 versus how hard it is to get, it was not there. It's there now. Now it's good and exciting. Okay, so let's just say, theoretically, Brawl Stars has been continually buffing progression over and over and over again with these most recent updates, and now things are really, really good right now. Let's say they came out with something really cool that would be like worth a Power 12, okay? Like,
it would have to be like third star power or something.
Not even star,
or,
no, like another super.
Ooh.
So you get to unlock
super.
Like a legendary super. Like every brawler has this new super that you could do. And like you could choose the regular super, or you could have the upgraded version of the super, or maybe a different super or something like that. I'm not saying that that's exactly what they could do, but like, would Power 12 be something you're interested in? Because I can almost guarantee you Supercell does this with every single game. Clash Royale tries it over and over and over again to add new power levels into the game, and it fails every single time. Brawl Stars tried it, it fails. Clash Clans does it, everybody loves it. And I know that the developers at Supercell are going to have conversations. They're like, oh man, I wish we could have something like Clash of Clans where we can add new power levels into the game to reward players and have players be excited about it. I can almost guarantee you this is going to happen someday in Brawl Stars history. I don't know when. I hope it doesn't happen. Right? But the idea is it has to be worth the extra progression.
Yeah. Because right now, if they did introduce level 12, I wouldn't be happy about it. Like,
I wouldn't either.
all you're doing is just upping the stats. You know what I mean? Like you're just moving the stats up of a
Yeah.
brawler, more damage.
It would have to come with a new ability. But honestly, I can't think of a new ability that would be that exciting.
Even new abilities, I wouldn't be excited because just introduce a new star power, like gears, like mythic gears, for example. You have other ways to like, change things up for a brawler. You don't have to like add a new level to it because all you're doing right now when you're like introducing level 12 is you're just making it harder for like the casual player to reach that level 12 mark,
and
right?
Also,
with that brawler.
They release a new brawler every 2 months, if not 2. Yeah. And so level 12 would be even more progression you have to do with every single brawler in the game.
Yeah. Like when I tell people...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, when I tell people, like, the difference between when they introduced level 11 brawlers, right, with the gears, it's a huge difference between when you had a level 9 brawler. Remember when the max brawler was level 9?
Yeah.
It's not a 2-level upgrade. When you're going from level 9 to 11, it's not 2-level upgrade. It's much more than that because you also have to take into account the 2 gears.
Yeah, it's like a 3-level upgrade.
On top. Yeah, so
basically.
Like it's a huge difference.
I would like them to add more abilities and mechanics into the game, but what I would prefer that they did is they would move one of the gear slots to power 8. Right?
Yeah.
Move a gear slot down to power 8, make the second gear slot at power 10, and then add the new ability at power 11. And then at power 11, you could buy this new ability or whatever, and that would just cost gold. So you don't have to upgrade a whole other brawler. You just get... Obviously, this is like completely speculative. I don't even think that Supercell, like the Brawl Stars team, has ever even mentioned this to anybody. But it's just, I just feel like Supercell always tries to do this, and it makes sense for them to try and add something into the game, for them to add more progression into it. So, I don't know. That was my last question. Do you have any questions you want to ask?
See if anyone has questions in the Twitter space, comments.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so the Lucas here says, I think it's time for the devs to finally make a division between casual ladder and competitive ladder, where casuals can play without punishments to grind the rewards, but dedicated players to compete without the pressure of power league and have harsher resets, more grind for them. Oh, actually, I kind of agree with the Lucas here. I was going to mention something along these lines where, like, you have these top 200. You have the top 200 leaderboard, right?
Yeah.
Give us special rules where, like, give us harsher resets. Like, we want this, right? As competitive trophy pushers, we want the harsh resets.
So where the casual players in the top 200 gets completely reset down to whatever that 200 mark is.
Drop 20,000 trophies. I'm happy with that. Drop my trophies because I want it to be competitive.
So what you're saying is you want trophy prestige on your brawlers. That was the beginning of this.
Yes.
This is literally what we very first started talking about at the beginning of this entire stream.
Yeah, exactly. Trophy prestige.
Pretty much a prestige, just like what would happen is you'd get to a certain level, and then all of a sudden you're at prestige level, where your trophy counts for each individual brawler doesn't matter, and now it's your prestige rank.
Exactly.
No, that's
the leaderboard here,
I like that idea.
The top players. Yeah, that's what we need. Is like, it'll make everyone happy. Like you put the 0.00001% of the players, right? The top players in the leaderboard, right? You give them this different, competitive ladder system where, like, oh, you reach this point, now you have harsher resets, right?
Yeah.
Everyone benefits from this. The casual players, they don't get the reset, right? Like, you don't have to worry about that. Your main goal is to just, get as high trophies as much. Like, you work for those trophies. You don't want to lose them. You want to keep moving up in trophies, right? You're happy with that. Whereas the competitive pushers, right? They want the reset because, that makes it more competitive, right? Once you reach that high competitively, you reach, say, like 1250 with a certain brawler, right?
Yeah.
And you want to keep pushing, right? But, like, matchmaking is going to get slower, right? Now you can't compete as much with these other players because now you have to wait like 30 minutes for a game, for example, right? It just benefits everyone, I feel like.
No, I agree with you. I like that idea because I came up with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Supercell team watches this.
We can send it to them.
Point. Oh.
I mean, we're just two people talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. I think they can, like, there's a lot of, like, I mean, a lot of the stuff we're, like, messing around maybe, but there's a lot of insights that you can...
Well, the thing is that, I mean, we're only two people, and we're not developers, but we know what we like about the game, and we know what we don't like about the game. And we like a lot. But it's the just the fact that the majority of this stream was us talking about things that we would like to be a little bit different.
I mean, that's the other thing is, like, when you're, like, for example, you're, like, you know, someone in Supercell, like, for example, say you're Frank, right? Yeah. Like, we have so much positive things to say about the game, right? But that's not gonna, like, yeah, like, I have, like, so many things. Like,
people aren't interested. Like,
yeah, people are interested.
I did a video talking about all the reasons why I hated Gears, and it was one of my most popular videos. I did another video where I talked about all the reasons why I like Brawl Stars, and it, like, totally flopped. Nobody watched it. Like, my video was titled, "Is Brawl Stars Worth Playing?" And it was a good thumbnail. It was a good title. Anybody that's, like, you know, I talked about all the reasons why I like the game. Nobody watched it. Talk about, you know, anyway. So that's why we talk about these things that we want to be improved. But it's not like we hate the game. We wouldn't be here if we hated the game. We love the game.
It's just, and that's the thing. Is, like, we love the game so much that
we want it to be better.
We want it to be better, exactly. And we are, like, maybe sometimes we'll sound critical about certain changes, but, you know, that's our viewpoint on certain things. And you know, I really liked our talk today, Kairos, because a lot of it, like, we had a lot of, like, differences in opinions. Like, for example, like PvE, like, I don't even play it. Yeah. It was like, you love it, for example. So that was great. Like, mixed opinions, and, you know, same with, like, brawler balance. And
also, I think something that a lot of people don't recognize is that anything that we have talked about, I can almost guarantee you that the developers have already talked about it. Maybe not everything, but the majority of comment or suggestions from people on Twitter or even from content creators or everybody else, I can almost guarantee you that Supercell's already at least thought about it or considered it. And the answer is either we don't want to do it or we don't have time to do it. So if your suggestion is not in the game, it's probably because they're either working on something better or different, or they don't like the idea. So I don't know.
I mean, just the best way to look at it, whether, you know, the game's in a good place, is just look at the most recent updates. Have they met your, you know, expectations? Or
dude, I would have never guessed what they were going to do for these most recent updates. And I would have recommended them doing something super boring, like a trophy chain, like a trophy league reset change, completely different than what they did. Which would have been fine for some players, but Bling is way more exciting. Masteries is way better than what I was going to suggest. Like, they come up with these really cool ideas. My only wish at the end of the day was that the Brawl Stars developers just had more time, because then they could do more awesome things that I want them to do.
Exactly. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah, that's what it comes down to, is, like, more time, more... yeah, and it's not going to happen, obviously, but... We're gonna continue to go in the right direction, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, this was super fun. I enjoyed this very thoroughly. We talked about every aspect of Brawl Stars. If you guys missed the very beginning or you only watched part of it, we talked about the state of the Trophy League reset, Mastery, state of Power League, social aspect of the game, Club League, Map Maker, Teaming and Showdown, PvE events, game economy and progression, state of balance, and new brawlers. We literally talked about every aspect about Brawl Stars that I feel like we could have even thought of, and just covered everything. So if you haven't watched it, this will be at least shared. I don't know if you can go to Twitter Spaces after the fact.
Yeah, this is being recorded, so you can listen to it anytime
so
as well.
So you can check the description, and you can check out Ash's recording of it. You can also check out this will be up as a YouTube video on my stream as well. Make sure you guys absolutely go over onto Ash's Twitter. It is linked in the description below, and follow him, because he does this type of thing with not just myself but other content creators, other people within the space. You had Adrian on your Twitter Spaces, which is awesome. Yep. Who works at Supercell. He's the developer in charge of balance. Like it's awesome thing to go and check out. And also thank you for joining me, man.
Well, thank you so much. This was so much fun. Learned so much today.
Like,
you kind of blew my mind. Like you have so much insights as well. Like
I want to know how I blew your mind.
Oh, it's just like, for example, like the what's it called, the bling and everything, like so much of the like basically fun facts of Brawl Stars. That
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I put you on the spot there. I was very curious. You complimented me, and I was like, wait, I want to know more about this compliment. I like blowing your mind.
Oh, it was so much. I'm like, it's just so much that I don't know where to start.
Well, it's just a different perspective. You play a lot more than I do, and I mostly play. I say that I play casually, but I play more than most people. Still, even just an hour a day. Most people don't play an hour every day. But that was fun. Thank you, everybody, for the stream. Sorry for the chat. I wasn't able to read all of your comments and things like that. We wanted to focus on the discussion. But I really did appreciate you guys being there and for the donations and also joining channel members and everything like that. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Same with the Twitter space. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in to next week. We'll have another great guest like Kairos.